purple-winged cloud leopard. Ling Chen, what is that? It's all sparkly and so pretty. Shattering stretched out her snow-white hand and pointed near Ling Chen's feet. Ling Chen looked towards the direction she was pointing in and saw two piles of crystals. The first time Ling Chen had come here, these two piles of crystals had caught his attention. They looked like ice, but were clearer than most ice crystals and gave off a faint light. Back then, he had only looked in appreciation and hadn't paid them much mind. That was because this is the summit of the Godchild Peak, and there is snow and ice everywhere. 1,000-year and 10,000-year mystic ice that couldn't be seen anywhere else could be found here. It's ice! Hasn't Sha seen it before? Ling Chen asked as he smiled. Ice, although I can't remember when. I feel like I have seen it before and I know its name, but in my memories, the ice didn't look so nice, Shattering said as she stared at the ice crystals. Ling Chen, can you help me take a few? I really like them. Haha, if you like them, just take them all. Ling Chen walked over to the two piles of ice crystals and took one at the top and then gave it to Shattering. Shattering gave a bright smile as she started to cheer and play with it. Ling Chen then put the rest of the ice crystals in his bag. Ice crystals were incredibly ordinary items here, and there was an abundance of them. However, although bags could store things, they could not keep things cool. After leaving the Godchild Peak, the ice crystals would quickly disappear. After opening his communication device and looking at the time, Ling Chen's heart thumped. Within the dark world, he had no idea that a whole day and 2 nights had gone by. Tian must be worried sick. Ling Chen looked at the young girl in his embrace as he felt quite complicated. Ever since he had picked up Shattering, she had refused to come down. She had been brought out by him from a strange world, and seemed to have lost all of her memories. What would she do if he logged off? Sha, do you want to come home with me? I'll introduce you to a few big sisters. Ling Chen swayed the girl's body. A pure girl like this could only be given to Yun Ming Xian to be looked after. He still needed to look for the lunar scourge's other god orbs, and he didn't know what sort of places he had to go or how much danger he had to face. He couldn't always keep her with him like this. Okay. I want to see what Ling Chen's home is like. Shattering happily laughed. Snow Cherry, let's go! After being summoned, Snow Cherry appeared and quickly turned into her mount form. Ling Chen carried Shattering onto Snow Cherry's back and introduced the beautiful 9-tailed snow fox to her. Suddenly, the roar of a wild beast sounded out. The roar sounded quite close and was absolutely deafening. It contained an immense pressure, causing Ling Chen's body to involuntarily shiver. At the same time, the ground underneath him started to tremble as the layer of ice above him started to shake, causing ice crystals and snow to fall. Ling Chen could clearly feel an extremely dangerous aura locked onto his body. This aura felt incredibly hateful and berserk, and it came from beneath him. Ling Chen, what's happening? What's going on? Shattering pressed her soft body against Ling Chen in fear as she cried out. Don't worry, we'll be fine soon. Hold on tight. Shattering's hands clung onto Ling Chen, and with a slight thought, Snow Cherry dashed into the air like a streak of lightning, traversing 50 meters until she reached the layer of ice. To Ling Chen, anywhere related to water was advantageous. Snow Cherry's body entered into the ice layer and directly flew upwards, breaking through the surface in no time at all. The surface of the ice layer was still the same, and although it had been half covered by snow, the fissure within the ice was still present. Ling Chen did not stop at all and urged Snow Cherry quickly towards the edge of the summit. Only when they reached the summit did he stop and turn around. At that moment a massive sound came from below them as the layer of ice exploded. Countless ice shards were blown high into the air, some reaching 100 meters high in the air, as a golden shadow leapt through and landed on the summit. It had 4 short but powerfully built limbs, and a thick tail that was almost as long as its body. It had a tiger-like head with a protruding nose. Its 4 paws were incredibly large, and its claws firmly gripped into the ice. Its body was a golden color, and it was covered by a cloud-like pattern. As it appeared, a pair of oval eyes locked onto where Ling Chen was. That appearance, it was a leopard. It was about 2 meters long and was larger than most fully grown leopards. However, it was still much smaller than most of the extremely powerful monsters Ling Chen had encountered in the virtual world. However, the might and sense of danger emanating out from it caused Ling Chen's heart to tremble. The pressure this beast gave off was greater than even that of a celestial-grade beast, and thinking back, Ling Chen was shocked to realize that this sense of pressure was no less than the one he felt from the mountain giant. In other words, this ordinary-looking leopard was most likely a Heaven's End grade boss. As Ling Chen thought about the situation, he felt quite confused. Before the leopard had jumped out, there had been no change to the ice layer, which meant that the leopard had always been beneath the ice layer. If it had always been below the ice layer, why hadn't it reacted at all the first 2 times he had come here? The ice demon beast claimed that she had been here for countless years, and she treated this place as her home. If she had discovered the leopard, she most likely would have eaten it. Why did it suddenly jump out this time? And the aura it was giving off was as if Ling Chen was its most hated foe, on the level of killing its father. With Ling Chen's current strength, he is able to easily defeat celestial-grade bosses near his level, but while he might be able to defeat low-level Heaven's End grade bosses, he would only be able to run away from those near this level. He had only defeated that mountain giant with Tian's help. Facing this large leopard that seemed to have come from nowhere, Ling Chen only had a single option: run. Without hesitating at all, Snow Cherry turned and spread her wings, gliding along the cliff face as she flew downwards. Normally, if he met such a strong boss, he would at least try fighting it. However, he absolutely could not do this right now, because he had Shadisika with him. The evil god's mask could reflect fatal attacks for him, but Shadisika would instantly die. Moreover, once she died, she would be permanently dead. Whoosh! Snow Cherry descended extremely quickly, causing the wind to howl in their ears. With Snow Cherry's movement speed, normal creatures were unable to catch up to her at all. Just as Ling Chen was able to relax a bit, the sound of a gale came from above. Whoosh! Ling Chen looked up and saw the leopard's gray-green eyes. On its back were 2 purple wings that looked mismatched on its body. The wings gave off a cold light, as if they were made from crystals. Within the sound of this wild gale, the 2 gray-green eyes came closer and closer to Ling Chen, and in an instant, the 100 meters distance shrank to 50 meters, and then to 10 meters. What the hell? Leopards can sprout wings? This is ridiculous. With Ling Chen mounted on her, Snow Cherry's movement speed was 345, a speed that can be described to be as fast as lightning. And yet, they were still unable to shake off this leopard and were being caught up to by it. Ling Chen frowned as he unhesitatingly activated Broken Shadow. Whoosh! With Broken Shadow activated, Snow Cherry's speed skyrocketed, shooting off like a bolt of lightning. A white shadow blurred as she disappeared off into the distance. Under the extreme speed, the wind howled and screamed in his ears, making it difficult for Ling Chen to even sit properly on Snow Cherry's body. He was actually almost thrown off. He tightly hugged Shadisika, protecting her small head with his arms as he breathed out. With Broken Shadow activated, Snow Cherry's movement speed was 3,450. Not even a god would be able to catch up to her. Broken Shadow was an escaping skill that had never failed Ling Chen before, and no matter how powerful an enemy was, he would be able to escape from them in an instant. They wouldn't be able to even catch the dust he left behind. Sha, don't worry. It's fine now. Ling Chen patted Shadisika's arm as he comforted her, and then casually looked behind him. Just this casual glance almost caused him to fall down from Snow Cherry's back. He could still see the leopard, and it was only about 30 meters behind him. Despite activating Broken Shadow, this leopard was still giving chase. On its back, the crystal-like wings were giving off a bright crystalline light. Ling Chen desperately wanted to rub his eyes. What the hell was going on? He had activated Broken Shadow. Broken Shadow. And yet, this leopard was still keeping up with him. What the hell was going on? Could it be that this leopard had a rocket in its ass? After feeling extremely shocked, he quickly calmed down. He noticed the leopard's shining wings and realized that though it was fast, it shouldn't normally be this fast. Ling Chen guessed that this explosive increase in speed was probably some sort of skill it used. If that is the case, then it probably can't use that skill for very long, so it is still possible to outrun it. Ling Chen continued to rapidly descend. He was no longer restricted by the coldness, and with gravity on their side, they were able to travel extremely quickly. As they descended, the temperature gradually began to rise. After Broken Shadow's effects ended, Ling Chen immediately cast a second Broken Shadow. He turned around to find that the leopard was still right behind him, and didn't seem to be any further away. With 3450 movement speed, they traversed around 200 to 300 meters every second, meaning that the gap between them was almost nothing. Chilling crystal Chalcedony when climbing the mountain, Ling Chen had been greatly restricted by the temperature. Each step he had taken was with great difficulty. Now, not only was he not affected by the temperature at all, but he was also rapidly flying downwards with Snow Cherry. The speed at which he had ascended could not be compared at all to the speed at which he was descending. Back then, it had taken Ling Chen more than a month to climb to the summit of the Godchild Peak, while right now, by the time the third Broken Shadow had almost ended, Snow Cherry was almost halfway down the mountain. There were barely even any traces of snow around. At that moment, Ling Chen heard Qi Yu's voice in his head. "Little master, where did you go during this time? Why couldn't my consciousness come out from within the lunar scourge? I couldn't even detect your presence." There was a sense of deep shock contained within Qi Yu's face. While within that dark world, Ling Chen couldn't contact Qi Yu, and Qi Yu's mind couldn't even leave the lunar scourge, let alone contact Ling Chen. She realized that Ling Chen had most likely entered into a special region that had a powerful isolating force. However, she couldn't think of any sort of place in the Forgotten Continent that was like that. "I'll tell you later. Can't you see there's a leopard behind us?" Ling Chen inwardly roared. "Oh!" Qi Yu seemed to only just notice the leopard that was relentlessly chasing after them. She paused before crying out in shock. "It's a purple-winged cloud leopard." "Purple-winged cloud leopard? You've seen them before?" "No, but I've heard of them," Qi Yu replied. "They're not very famous in the Forgotten Continent. Who would have thought that after 10,000 years, the purple-winged cloud leopard clan still existed? I thought that they had long since become extinct. I'm sure that there are still records of it, though. Star-chasing tiger and wind-pursuing leopard were names that everyone knew back then." Star-chasing tiger and wind-pursuing leopard? The star-chasing tiger refers to the moon god clan's holy guardian beast. It's one of the Forgotten Continent's 5 Saint Destroyer beasts, the 8-winged heaven tiger. It's said that its speed is extremely fast and can chase after the stars and moon. There's no creature in the heavens that can rival its speed. As for the wind-pursuing leopard, that refers to the purple-winged cloud leopard behind you. When traveling at its fastest speed, it can rival that of the wind. However, this purple-winged cloud leopard cannot fully exhibit the maximum speed of a purple-winged cloud leopard because it's not yet mature and is only Heaven's End grade. Mature purple-winged cloud leopards are mysterious god grade, and even if you activate Broken Shadow, they'll still be able to easily catch up to you. Despite this, it's already quite amazing you've been able to stay ahead of this purple-winged cloud leopard for so long. This monstrously fast purple-winged cloud leopard was not yet mature. Ling Chen couldn't help but feel dumbfounded. TT seemed that there were all sorts of miraculous things in this world. He had thought that his speed after activating Broken Shadow was one of the fastest in the world, exceeding anything comprehensible by humans. He thought that apart from Feng, nothing could catch up to him. TT seems that he had simply been a frog in the well. Little Master, where did you discover this purple-winged cloud leopard? Why is it chasing you? Although purple-winged cloud leopards aren't very well-natured, they're not so easily enraged, nor would they attack humans for no reason. Why is it chasing me? I want to know as well. Ling Chen said as he gnashed his teeth. It was hiding under the ice layer at the summit, and didn't react at all the first 2 times I came here. I don't know what went wrong with its brain for it to suddenly run out and relentlessly chase after me. From what I know, because of their incredible speed and power, they're often tasked with guarding or protecting things. Unless one's overall strength far surpasses theirs, with the purple-winged cloud leopard's speed, no one is able to steal the things they protect. Little Master, did you steal something that it was protecting? Xiao asked. How is that possible? Apart from snow and ice, there's nothing at the summit of the Godchild Peak. Even if there's some amazing treasure, it's definitely buried under the thick ice. Xiao, we can't come out at the summit, so even if I wanted to find it, I wouldn't. How would I be able to steal it? I've been to the summit 3 times, and all I took were some ice crystals. Ling Chen suddenly paused as cold sweat appeared on his forehead, and he weakly spoke. It can't be those ice crystals, right? They're all over the Godchild Peak. What ice crystals? Show me. Ling Chen immediately took out one of the ice crystals that he had taken from in front of the mysterious door and looked at its description. Chilling crystal Chalcedony, mystic ice that has existed for over 100,000 years, that has absorbed the aura of true gods from the ancient times. Cannot be melted even by fire, and is incredibly tough and durable. Contains boundless chilling chi, but does not feel cold at all. Has great affinity with living creatures. Consuming one will immediately increase one's level by 3 levels, and the chilling chi will gently change the consumer's body, giving them a permanent 40% resistance to water. If combined with armor, it will become virtually indestructible, and if combined with equipment, it will become incredibly tough and durable. It will also gain a powerful freezing effect. This is the legendary item that was supposedly left behind by gods, the chilling crystal Chalcedony. Xiao cried out. Ling Chen's mouth fell wide open. He had taken these ice crystals only because Shadisika had said they were pretty, so he took them for her to play with. Who would have thought that these ice crystals had such powerful effects? Eating one would instantly raise one's level by 3 levels, and could give 40% resistance to water. This was simply incomprehensible. What's more, after counting, Ling Chen found that he had 80 or so of these chilling crystal Chalcedony. I'm rich. Ling Chen inwardly screamed. This meant that the purple-winged cloud leopard was the guardian of these chilling crystal Chalcedony. After all, it had only appeared after he had taken the chilling crystal Chalcedony. Suddenly, Ling Chen did not feel wronged anymore. Of course, it would try to chase him down after he took 80 or so of these overpowered items from the purple-winged cloud leopard. Of course, now that he knew, that didn't mean he would hand these chilling crystal Chalcedony to the purple-winged cloud leopard. Since he had obtained these overpowered things, they were now his. Return them? No way. Moreover, these chilling crystal Chalcedony had been left on the ground, and it wasn't as if they had anyone's name written of them. They were evidently ownerless, so he was completely justified in taking them away. It was the purple-winged cloud leopard, which had suddenly rushed out, who was the bandit. After telling himself this, Ling Chen felt much better inside. By the time the last broken shadow had nearly expired, the purple-winged cloud leopard was still right behind them. When broken shadow expired, it would catch up to them in an instant. Ling Chen looked down at the girl in his embrace as he gritted his teeth. He let go as he vigorously jumped off from Snow Cherry's back, the great Ravager, and the twilight spear appearing in his hands as he shot towards the purple-winged cloud leopard. Snow Cherry, take her as far away as possible. Ling Chen. Shadisika cried out in fear and shock as Ling Chen's body smashed into the purple-winged cloud leopard. They were traveling too quickly, and because of how suddenly Ling Chen had turned and jumped, even the purple-winged cloud leopard could not react in time. However, it did not need to react, because its goal was to kill Ling Chen. Ling Chen giving up escaping and suddenly attacking was what it wished for. Bang! Minus 26,500, minus 26,502, minus 90,800. The sound of them crashing together at such a speed sounded like a massive explosion. In the next instant, the man and beast shot apart from each other as three bright red damage figures rose up in the air. Two were dealt by Ling Chen himself, and the third was damage reflected by the evil god's mask. All three damage figures had been dealt to the purple-winged cloud leopard. This incredibly powerful impact almost knocked Ling Chen unconscious, and he didn't even know when he had fallen to the ground. By the time he crawled up, he realized that he was lying in a big crater and half of his HP was missing. Evidently, his loss in HP wasn't dealt by the purple-winged cloud leopard, but from falling to the ground. After a while, his mind finally became clear again. After some struggling, he was able to stand up. He thought to himself that this was how it must feel after being hit by a train. Some distance away from him, the purple-winged cloud leopard was in a much worse shape than him. Its entire body had smashed into a mountain. The evil god's mask reflected not only damage, but the impact in force. Snow Cherry obeyed Ling Chen's command and had flown far, far away. After trying to detect her, Ling Chen found that she was 1,000 meters away in the air and was only a white dot in the distance. This allowed Ling Chen to relax. Even now, he could still hear Shadisika's shocked and fearful voice. "Since I can't run away, I'll have to kill you." Ling Chen's eyes flashed murderously as he rushed towards where the purple-winged cloud leopard was. Just as he took a few steps, the ground under his feet suddenly trembled as the purple-winged cloud leopard launched itself towards Ling Chen like a bolt of lightning with a roar. The purple-winged cloud leopard's wings were no longer shining, but it was still incredibly fast. However, it was much slower than it was when it was chasing them. Evidently, it couldn't travel that fast whenever it wanted to. Ling Chen's eyes narrowed into slits as he tracked the purple-winged cloud leopard's trajectory. The purple-winged cloud leopard's body wasn't very big, which meant that its attack range was not very big either. Ling Chen was confident that he wouldn't be completely defenseless against this sort of speed and attack. Whoosh! The gale-like purple-winged cloud leopard swept towards Ling Chen, but found that its target was only an afterimage. Although Ling Chen was not as fast as the purple-winged cloud leopard, his monstrous senses and his incredible explosive strength allowed him to perfectly evade the attack. Because he had evaded so well and with such perfect timing, his afterimage looked incredibly clear. His body had ducked underneath the purple-winged cloud leopard's attack as he activated Soul Sacrifice and sent two heavy attacks towards the purple-winged cloud leopard's hind legs, a 1,000-kilogram rend with his left hand, and a Ling Tian slash with his right. Boom! Bang! Minus 132,500, minus 220,850. Even the purple-winged cloud leopard couldn't receive Ling Chen's furious attacks, which were buffed by soul sacrifice so easily. As the two heavy explosions sounded out, the purple-winged cloud leopard, which was already traveling incredibly quickly, was blasted away by the two attacks like a rocket. It crashed to the ground after flying about 100 meters, and could no longer maintain its balance as it started to roll down the mountain. However, the purple-winged cloud leopard was not to be underestimated. Just as Ling Chen let out a breath and started to smile, a purple light flashed as a wild gale rushed towards him. As Ling Chen's pupils expanded, the purple-winged cloud leopard, which had been rolling 30 meters away, was suddenly right in front of him. By the time he had realized what he had seen, the massive front paws were less than half a body length away. Bang! Ling Chen was hit heavily, as he was sent flying like a bale of hay. He felt utterly shocked inwardly. From when the purple-winged cloud leopard had hit the ground to when it had rushed in front of him, its speed was so fast that he couldn't react in time. It had essentially teleported. The attack it just unleashed was many times faster than its first attack, and was slightly faster than even when it had been chasing behind him. Back then, its wings had been glowing, meaning that it had used a skill to increase its speed. Evidently, Ling Chen's attacks, which had made it suffer greatly, had completely enraged it. Just as Ling Chen's body fell to the ground, an icy and dangerous aura swept towards him from behind. The evil god's mask had once again saved him, but the purple-winged cloud leopard, who had been sent flying by the evil god's mask, once again sprang towards him. It was as fast as lightning, and with its berserk speed, it covered tens of meters in 0.1 seconds. Ling Chen didn't have time to think, much less turn around, before he released a silver light from the lunar scourge. Moon Shadow! Ding! The Libra Orb's effects have been activated. Moon Shadow, as cooldown time has been reset. The dangerous aura disappeared, and the purple-winged cloud leopard's body froze in midair. Ling Chen turned around and found that its sharp paws were less than 3 centimeters away from his forehead. Upon seeing this, Ling Chen's body erupted into cold sweat. The evil god's mask could only protect him once every 10 seconds. If he was hit by that attack, he would have died without a doubt. Now you know how powerful it is. Qi Yu's voice contained a hint of schadenfreude. She knew that Ling Chen wouldn't stand a chance against it in a straight-up fight. Within the lunar scourge, she had been continuously observing Ling Chen, and had seen him face many powerful bosses. They had all completely suppressed Ling Chen in terms of stats and skills as well as levels and grades. But this was the first one that had an overwhelming speed and agility advantage over him. The purple-winged cloud leopard was the first creature to be able to continuously hit Ling Chen with its attacks. Within the Forgotten Continent, its speed was inferior to only that of the 8-winged heaven tigers. It indeed lived up to its reputation. Ling Chen did not waste any words as he rushed up towards the frozen purple-winged cloud leopard and furiously attacked it. After 4 rounds of attacks, Moon Shadow's effects expired. The purple-winged cloud leopard gave a roar of pain as it heavily crashed onto the ground. However, it bounced back like a spring and accurately jumped several meters towards Ling Chen's position. Bang! The impact from a Heaven's End great beast caused the ground to crack, as stones and sand flew into the air. Ling Chen appeared 15 meters high in the air. The Twilight Spear's moment of elegance allowed him to successfully dodge its lightning-like attack. These 2 simple attacks from the purple-winged cloud leopard demonstrated to Ling Chen just how terrifying it was. The purple-winged cloud leopard had not used any skills the entire time, and every time it attacked, it was simply leaping at Ling Chen. However, with this sort of speed, agility, and explosiveness, it didn't need any attack skills. The number of beings under the heavens that could dodge its attacks could be counted on a single hand. For an immature purple-winged cloud leopard to be so monstrous already, it was inconceivable to imagine what a matured purple-winged cloud leopard would be like. Ling Chen quickly fell from the air, and before the purple-winged cloud leopard could attack again, he activated his second moon shadow to once again freezing the purple-winged cloud leopard. However, this time he wasn't lucky enough for the Libra Orb's effects to activate. Instead of attacking it like last time, Ling Chen took 2 steps forwards and unleashed a moon flare. The incredibly bright and piercing light stabbed into the purple-winged cloud leopard's eyes, causing a scream of pain to erupt from its throat. At the same time, its aura that was locking onto Ling Chen wavered because of the loss of its sight and the immense pain. At that moment, Ling Chen activated Vanishing Shadow and disappeared. Once Moon Flare's effects ended, the purple-winged cloud leopard regained its sight and let out a howl of fury. Its piercing eyes looked around, but they couldn't find Ling Chen. It could not detect Ling Chen at all within the range of its senses. The purple-winged cloud leopard's aura became berserk as it continuously roared in anger. Ling Chen was squatting on the ground 20 meters to its right, not daring to move. Little master isn't going to fight with it anymore? Xiao asked mockingly. Fight my ass! With such an obscene speed, how am I supposed to fight it? Ling Chen angrily retorted. What was the fastest speed on Earth? Teleportation. However, if he faced an enemy with teleportation, he would not have to fear at all because teleportation was a type of skill. With Moon Grief, his enemies would not be able to use any of their skills. Moreover, if the enemy wasn't fast enough, it would be hard to say who would hit who first even if they teleported behind him. However, the purple-winged cloud leopard surpassed him in speed, senses, reaction time, and explosiveness. These sorts of things couldn't be sealed off with Moon Grief. Even if this was a powerful player, Ling Chen wouldn't have minded. With his attack power, he would be able to insta-kill any player. However, this was a boss. Even if Ling Chen activated Soul Sacrifice, he might not be able to kill it even if he hit it 100 times, while it would take a single hit from the purple-winged cloud leopard to insta-kill him. The evil god's mask couldn't protect him every time, nor could he use Moon Shadow whenever he liked. If he continued to face the purple-winged cloud leopard head-on like this, the chances of him dying were above 90%. After perfectly hiding his presence with Vanishing Shadow, even the cherry blossom god representative was unable to detect him, much less the purple-winged cloud leopard. After rampaging around, the purple-winged cloud leopard still could not find Ling Chen. It took a few steps forwards as it suddenly raised its head. Its aura, which had been calming down, once again became berserk. Its gray-green eyes stared into the sky. The purple-winged cloud leopard's actions caused Ling Chen to feel slightly confused, forcing him to also look over. He immediately saw the white shadow 1,000 meters away, causing his face to fall. The purple-winged cloud leopard's ear-splitting roar sounded out as it spread its purple wings, its body blurring as it shot towards the white dot. Evidently, that was Snow Cherry and Shadisika. Ling Chen's heart trembled, and he immediately deactivated Vanishing Shadow and yelled, "I'm right here!" This sudden yell successfully attracted the purple-winged cloud leopard's attention onto him. Its body suddenly froze as it looked back before it let out a roar and rushed towards Ling Chen. It was Ling Chen who had taken the chilling crystal Chalcedony, so its target was naturally Ling Chen. Ling Chen frowned as he concentrated and watched the purple-winged cloud leopard come closer and closer. Looks like I have to kill it. If I really have to do it. I still have the Shura's death domain and lightning attraction. With the purple-winged cloud leopard's speed and the fact that they were only about 100 meters or so apart, it would be upon him in a blink of an eye. At that moment in the distance, a piercing bird's cry sounded out. This cry caused Ling Chen's body to tremble as a look of disbelief appeared on his face. The purple-winged cloud leopard's body also trembled as it paused and looked up. This bird's cry contained an overwhelming sense of might, and the purple-winged cloud leopard's body and soul trembled uncontrollably at the sound. As for Ling Chen, this cry sounded incredibly intimate, and it caused him to feel delight from the bottom of his heart. He was incredibly familiar with this cry, because no one would be able to forget this beautiful cry after hearing it. He quickly looked up, searching for where this cry had come from. When he looked towards the southeast, he saw a beautiful red shadow. He immediately yelled out in joy, "Xi Ling! Xi Ling! Is it you?" Crimson red feathers covered her body, and the body was also decorated by some golden feathers. The first time Ling Chen had seen Xi Ling, he had been deeply amazed by her beauty. The crimson figure in the sky was much larger than he remembered, but apart from Xi Ling, who could possess those beautiful feathers? A bird cry filled with joy gave Ling Chen his answer. Xi Ling started to fly faster, and she reached the air above Ling Chen in an instant. Her beautiful body spiraled above him in the air as her cries of joy sounded up to the heavens. Ling Chen looked up at Xi Ling and couldn't help but laugh. The weight within his heart finally disappeared. The Vermillion bird had fulfilled its promise, and Xi Ling really had come back. How miraculous! She actually revived and came back. The Vermillion bird burned its soul flame for her. Could it be because of its reverence towards the golden crow? Xiao said in astonishment before muttering, "Her grade also rose from heaven's end to mysterious god. With enough time, it's possible that she'll become a Saint Destroyer grade beast again." Some distance away, the purple-winged cloud leopard, which had been floating in the air, fell to the ground. The purple-winged cloud leopard, which had seemed so violent and domineering before, now lay with all four limbs on the ground shivering. Its gray-green eyes lost their berserk look and were instead filled with respect and fear. When its constricted eyes looked over to Ling Chen, it seemed to remember its duty. The look of fury reappeared as it sprang towards Ling Chen. However, under the suppression from Xi Ling's pressure, it was no longer as agile, becoming 3 to 4 times slower than before. Xiao Hui's this sort of speed posed no threat to Ling Chen. Just as he was about to react, a furious cry came from Xi Ling from above, as a crimson-red line of flame shot down from the sky, accurately smashing into the purple-winged cloud leopard's body. -3,028,000. The purple-winged cloud leopard's body was flipped over by the attack as its entire body started to burn up. It howled pitifully as it rolled around in pain, 120,000 damaged figures continuously rising up from its body. Upon seeing this, Ling Chen's jaws dropped. If he saw correctly, that red laser just dealt more than 3 million damage. No less than expected from the Golden Crow's flames. It is able to deal Saint Destroyer grade damage while still at the mysterious god grade. The reputation of the strongest attacker in the Forgotten Continent is well deserved. Xiao gasped in shock and admiration. Just this simple attack caused the Heaven's End grade purple-winged cloud leopard to lose more than 1/3 of its HP. Moreover, the red flames did not disappear, continuing to consume the purple-winged cloud leopard's HP. After being attacked by a holy beast like Xi Ling and losing 1/3 of its HP, the purple-winged cloud leopard was scared out of its wits. It howled as it ran up the mountain, while still covered with flames, hoping that the freezing temperature at the summit would extinguish the flames that caused it so much pain. To Xi Ling, attacking Ling Chen was absolutely unforgivable. She continuously rained down flames towards the purple-winged cloud leopard. Boom! 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 The large region became a sea of flames, but in the end, the purple-winged cloud leopard was not to be underestimated. Even if it was in a pitiful state, it was still incredibly fast, dodging all of Xi Ling's attacks. Finally, Xi Ling gave another furious cry as she spread her wings, a ring of red fire shooting towards where the purple-winged cloud leopard was escaping. It grew larger and larger as it flew through the air. Whoosh in the distance, where the purple-winged cloud leopard was running, a sea of flames that reached tens of meters high instantly erupted. The flames spanned a distance of over 1,000 meters. The flames devoured everything it touched, including the purple-winged cloud leopard. Cries of fear and pain sounded out from within the flames, until everything became silent again. Ding! The LV-60 Heaven's End grade boss purple-winged cloud leopard has died. Because you have dealt damage to it, you have received proportionate rewards. Fame plus 5350, SP plus 5350. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up to LV-50, HP plus 20, MP plus 20, Strength plus 5, Agility plus 1, Spirit plus 1. Ding! You have leveled up to LV-50, and have therefore fulfilled the conditions to enter the Forgotten Continent's royal city, the Forgotten Continent. The beginning phase of your journey in the Mystic Moon has concluded, and your true journey in Mystic Moon has begun. You can now head to the Forgotten City and find your profession trainer to complete your second profession upgrade. If you have a hidden profession, you need to find certain items or fulfill certain criteria to upgrade your profession. After rising to a certain level or fulfilling a hidden condition, your profession will automatically be upgraded. Ding! Because you have reached LV-50, have physical attack power greater than 2,000, and all of your profession skills levels are more than half of the maximum level, Ling Tian Battle Soul will automatically be upgraded to Ling Tian War God. HP plus 500, MP plus 200, physical attack damage plus 150, for primary attributes plus 20, SP plus 300, War God Technique, S maximum level has been increased to LV-20, Ling Tian / has been upgraded to Heaven Destroying / Ling Tian Burst has been upgraded to Boundless Desolation, for Corner Star Formation has been upgraded to A Direction Annihilation, Battle Soul Possession has been upgraded to War God's Fury, and the War God's 2 ultimate skills have been unlocked, Extinguishing the Heavens and Destroying the Earth Tempest, and Disdaining the Heavens and Scorning the Earth, I am Emperor. Ding! Under the effects from Holy Spirit Beast Xiao Hui's Holy Spirit's Gift, the skills, Heaven Destroying / Boundless Desolation, 8 Direction Annihilation, War God's Fury, Extinguishing the Heavens and Destroying the Earth Tempest, and Disdaining the Heavens and Scorning the Earth, I am Emperor, have all been raised to LV-4. Ding! Because you have reached LV-50, have comprehension greater than 15, and have unlocked more than 5 Feng Chen murdering heart curses, you have received the right to succeed as the Feng Chen Sect leader. Feng Chen Curse Zani has been automatically upgraded to Feng Chen Sect leader, Constitution plus 50, Agility plus 100, Spirit plus 100, Movement Speed plus 15. The skill, Feng Chen Technique, has been increased to max level. Broken Shadow and Vanishing Shadow have been raised to LV-5 with their maximum levels raised to LV-10. You have also unlocked a new shadow technique, Burning Shadow. Ding! You have unlocked the new Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curses, Deity Curse, Irreconcilable Hatred Curse, Love Magnet Curse, and We're All Sheep Curse. The success rates of all Feng Chen curses have all greatly increased. Ling Chen received a portion of the EXP from the purple-winged cloud leopard's death, leveling him up from LV-49 to LV-50. LV-50 was the point when all players could do their second profession upgrade. Because both of his professions were quite special, he had wondered how he would upgrade his professions. He could find Xiao Feng Chen for his Feng Chen Curse Zani profession, but who did he have to meet for his War God profession? Who would have thought that these two professions would have both automatically upgraded as soon as he hit LV-50? Of course, level wasn't the only condition for upgrading the professions. Ling Chen had unknowingly fulfilled all of the other conditions, allowing his 2 professions to simultaneously be upgraded instantly. Every profession upgrade was a massive power spike for players, and Ling Chen was no exception. After both of his professions were upgraded, Ling Chen received massive stat increases, and more importantly, he unlocked more powerful skills. The mountain in front of him continued to burn, but Ling Chen's focus was no longer on that. Xi Ling had returned and both of his professions had been upgraded. He felt incredibly delighted. Just as he was about to hurriedly look at his new skills, the system announcements once again sounded out. Ding! Your pet Xiaohui has leveled up to LV50. Ding! Your pet Xiaohui is requesting to leave the pet dimension. A strong wave of energy came from the pet dimension, and Ling Chen immediately let out Xiaohui. The instant Xiaohui appeared, an intense purple light pierced into Ling Chen's eyes, causing him to subconsciously shield his eyes with his hand. When his eyes had adjusted to the light, he found that the light was coming from Xiaohui's sharp horn. The light slowly covered Xiaohui's entire body. This purple light was the same as the one from the white tiger's lightning. Xiaohui's entire body was bathed in the lightning, and he didn't move at all as the sounds of lightning became louder and louder. What's going on? Ling Chen took a step back as he looked at the strange scene in front of him. Ding! Your pet Ling'er has leveled up to LV50, MP plus 100, magic attack power plus 20, defense plus 10, favorability plus 2, and has unlocked Soul Lock. Special ability, Summon Undead, has leveled up to LV2. Ding! Your Mount-type pet Snow Cherry has leveled up to LV50, HP plus 1000, MP plus 300, physical attack power plus 100, magic attack power plus 60, defense plus 50, and has entered into her five-tail form. Murdering Soul can now be used, and Godly Fox Skytoppling Dance as effects have changed. Lung'er and Snow Cherry also leveled up to LV50, resulting in some changes in their stats and skills. Ling Chen didn't have time to have a look at their changes. His eyes were fixed on Xiaohui, who was covered with purple lightning. As he watched, he thought of something. This light looks more and more like the white tiger's lightning. Could it be that when the white tiger had passed those skills to Xiaohui, it also gave some of its power to Xiaohui that could only be released after LV50? According to the white tiger, the azure dragon, and the vermilion bird, white tiger and black turtle's power were all birthed from the holy Qilin. That meant that their power could once again go back to the holy Qilin. Could it be that after receiving some power from the white tiger, Xiaohui was evolving? Buzz! The light suddenly expanded, but Ling Chen immediately realized that it wasn't the light from the lightning that was expanding, but that within the light, Xiaohui's body was slowly growing. It was a slow process, but it was observable by the human eye. As his body became bigger, his four limbs became longer and thicker, and the horn on his head also grew longer. Ling Chen's heart started to beat faster. Perhaps his guess really was right. Xi Ling's attention was also attracted by Xiaohui's change. She hovered in the air as she silently watched him. Crack! A loud crack of lightning sounded out as the lightning around Xiaohui's body suddenly disappeared, revealing Xiaohui's body. He was still gray, had a sharp horn and a short tail. Overall, he didn't look too different. However, his body shape had greatly changed. Before, he was only as tall as a basketball, but now he was as tall as Ling Chen's knee. After the changes took place, Xiaohui looked quite happy, wagging his tail as he walked over to Ling Chen. His eyes shone as he affectionately rubbed against Ling Chen. Apart from the increase in body size, not much had changed. Ding! Your pet Holy Spirit beast Xiaohui has become Heaven's End grade, and all of his stats have greatly increased. Passive skills, Eye of the Holy Spirit, has leveled up to LV4, Holy Spirit's Aura has leveled up to LV11, and a new passive skills have been locked, Holy Spirit's Sacrifice, Holy Spirit's Pearl, as well as the special skill, Purple Qilin Light. Ling Tian War God, Feng Chen Sect leader. As one of the 5 Saint Destroyer beasts, The Holy Xi Ling's bloodline contains immense power. However, its body and strength grow incredibly slowly, taking thousands if not tens of thousands to completely mature. For Xiao Hui to rise an entire grade after only being born a few months ago is simply incomprehensible. Shi Yu, who had been watching this entire process, said, "Evidently, the White Tiger gave a portion of its spirit power to Xiao Hui. Not only did it give him the Thunder Bulwark and Lightning Attraction skills, but it also helped him grow faster." "That sounds right." Ling Chen nodded as he patted Xiao Hui's head and opened his stats page. He quickly read through his stats and found that after the upgrades, both of his professions had become much more powerful. The Ling Tian Battle Soul's skills were originally quite powerful, but after being upgraded, the skills were even more destructive. After looking through the new skills, Ling Chen's eyes lit up. When he saw the two new ultimate skills, he almost cried out in excitement. Ling Tian Battle Soul was only the War God profession's infant stage, and the Ling Tian War God profession was the true, complete profession. All of the skills were so powerful that one could not help but stare. There was not a single useless or subpar skill. The War God's profession skills were all about annihilation and destruction, but each skill's effects were different. Although they each had a different effect, Ling Chen felt that all of them were absolutely necessary. With Xiao Hui's LV3, Holy Spirit's gift, apart from the War God technique, which maximum level had become LV20, all of the other skills were automatically raised to LV4. Looking at these powerful skills, Ling Chen wished he could immediately raise all of them to their maximum level. Once this desire appeared, it became stronger and stronger, but Ling Chen forced the idea back. Although they were very close to max level, when Xiao Hui's Holy Spirit's gift reached LV5, they would automatically become max level, saving him large amounts of SP. However, the temptation from these monstrous skills were too strong, and he couldn't wait anymore. After killing the White Tiger and his first mysterious god-grade boss, he had received a whopping 300,000 SP. After the purple-winged cloud leopard had died, he had received another few thousand. With so much SP, he could spend them without worrying. Ling Chen opened his skills page and started to upgrade all of his War God's profession skills to the max level. However, he soon saw just how monstrous the War God's profession truly was. With 300,000 SP, he could upgrade all of the second profession upgrade skills of a normal profession to max level, and still have extra. As for the War God's profession, all of these skills were already at least LV4. By the time the two ultimate skills, which required the most SP, were a single level away from max level, when the War God technique is only LV10 out of 20, Ling Chen had already spent 200,000 SP. After happily going around and upgrading skills only to realize that he only had 100,000 SP left, his face twitched. He didn't dare to continue spending SP. This profession was indeed quite powerful, but it was like a voracious beast that had an insatiable appetite. Ling Tian War God, a powerful profession gained after inheriting the War God's soul's power. It was upgraded from the Ling Tian Battle Soul named by player Ling Tian. This profession was created for war, and has extreme offense and destructive capabilities. All of the profession's skills focus on powerful attacks. The skills are all incredibly destructive, but there are no support, defense, or crowd control skills. This profession is the War God profession's final form, and cannot be upgraded a third time. Profession passive abilities negates all debuffs from physical attack damage. Basic attribute effects: 1 strength equals 2 physical attack power, 1 constitution equals 10 HP, 1 defense, 1 agility equals 1 hit, 1 evasion, 1 spirit equals 2 magic attack power, 10 MP. Every level up gives 20 HP, 20 MP and 5 AP, which are automatically put into strength. Profession skills. War God technique. Current level, LV10. Highest level, LV20. SP required to upgrade to LV11, 20,000. Practicing powerful battle techniques originating from War God's soul force can greatly increase one's attack power permanently. Effect. Strength increases by 10*X points, and physical attack damage increases by 25*X. X equals current level. Heaven Destroying / current level, LV10 max level. A single target skill upgraded from Ling Chen / it possesses even more destructive power, containing enough might to destroy the heavens and split the earth. It uses one's weapon to attack a single target with the ferocious and mighty War God's power, dealing massive damage to the target. Effects. Single target attack. Damage is equal to 500% of normal attacks. Critical chance plus 30%. 10% chance to stun the target for 3 to 5 seconds. 10% chance for the target's defense to fall by 60% for 5 seconds. 90% of knocking the target back. MP consumption, 40. No cooldown time. Boundless Desolation, current level, LV10 max level. An AoE skill upgraded from Ling Chen Burst. It has a larger range and more destructive power. After guiding the War God's power into one's weapon, it is released as one sweeps their weapon, releasing a large-scale explosion. It attacks the area 10 meters in front of the user, and it has a 100% chance of knocking back the targets. Damage is equal to 300% of normal attacks. MP consumption, 50. No cooldown time. A Direction Annihilation, current level, LV10 max level. An ultimate skill upgraded from for Corner Star Formation. Unleashes the War God's power unreservedly when cast, creating a terrifying storm of destruction within 30 meters of the user. Damage is equal to 1,200% of normal attacks. Critical chance plus 30%. 100% chance to knock back targets. MP consumption, 250. Cooldown time, 60 seconds. War God's Fury, current level, LV5 max level. Gives incredibly power in times of desperation by igniting the War God's soul power. After activation, physical attack power plus 100%, attack speed plus 100%, defense reduced to 0, evasion reduced to 0, and maximum HP is decreased by 50%. All attacks will have absolute hit, absolute critical, absolute pierce, and last for 20 seconds. Can be activated when one's HP is less than 40%. Cooldown time, 90 seconds. Extinguishing the Heavens and Destroying the Earth Tempest, current level, LV5, max level. It is an ultimate killing move of the War God profession that belongs exclusively to Ling Chen. The War God's Fury ignites all of the War God's power, releasing power that is enough to shatter the heavens and the earth, shake the wind and clouds, overturn oceans, and destroy the sun and moon. Effects. Close-range single-target attack that deals 5,000% damage to the target and stuns them for 3 seconds. The energy waves affect all targets within 60 meters, dealing 1,000% damage to them. MP consumption, 1,200. Cooldown time, 3 days. Disdaining the heavens and scorning the earth, I am Emperor, current level, LV5, max level. An ultimate move of the War God profession that belongs exclusively to Ling Chen. It can only be activated with incredibly powerful mental energy and willpower. It integrates the War God's power into one's body and mind, blocking off all external damage and ignoring all attack delays. Lasts for 10 seconds. MP consumption, 4,000. Cooldown time, 10 minutes. Extinguishing the heavens and destroying the earth tempest, and disdaining the heavens and scorning the earth, I am Emperor, are both obscenely powerful skills. Among all of the attack skills Ling Chen had seen before, only the Shura's death domain, could surpass the extinguishing the heavens and destroying the earth tempest in terms of destructive power. Moreover, not only did extinguishing the heavens and destroying the earth tempest have extremely powerful single-target attack damage, but it could also deal damage within a massive area. No matter if it was a one-on-one battle or group battle, it could achieve terrifying results. As for disdaining the heavens and scorning the earth, I am Emperor, it gave him 10 seconds of invincibility and no attack delays. This meant that within those 10 seconds, he could instantly move after launching attacks and wouldn't have to spend time finishing his moves. When he was attacked, no matter how strong the attack was, even if a mountain was thrown at him, it would not affect him at all. In that state, he would indeed be like an emperor who could look down on the entire world. Nothing in the world would be able to injure or move him. Compared to the war god's profession, the Feng Sect's profession skills didn't change as much. He now had a new shadow skill, Burning Shadow, while Broken Shadow and Vanishing Shadow were enhanced. The biggest change was that he now had more powerful Feng murdering heart curses. At LV5, Broken Shadow and Vanishing Shadow both require over 100,000 SP to level up. Although the remaining 100,000 SP seems like a lot, it isn't even enough to level up these two skills to LV10. Ling Chen gritted his teeth as he leveled Broken Shadow and Vanishing Shadow up to LV8. He spent the rest of the SP on Burning Shadow. Feng Sect Leader, you have inherited the previous Feng Sect Leader Xiao Feng Chen's special profession that originated from the evil ancient sect Feng Sect. After becoming the current sect leader, you can freely enter and exit the Feng Sect's secret grounds, Heart and Cliff. This profession does not have any attack power, but its escaping skills are unrivaled under the heavens. The profession's Feng murdering heart curses can affect the target's mind without them noticing, a truly incredibly terrifying skill. The Forgotten Continent's experts fear nothing except the Feng murdering heart curses. Profession skills: Feng technique, current level, LV10, max level. A technique unique to the Feng sect. After cultivating, the user's body will become incredibly light and nimble, as if they are riding on a gentle breeze. It is said that when cultivated to the peak, the user can use the winds to walk in the sky, and even falling from a cliff will not hurt them at all. Effects: movement speed plus 100, evasion plus 100%, can freely control one's falling speed in the air, and can walk in the air. Broken Shadow, current level, LV8, highest level, LV10. SP required to upgrade to LV9, 18,000. One of the Feng Sect's ultimate escaping techniques. After activating, the user's body becomes like an illusory shadow, almost impossible to stop or capture. Effects: movement speed plus 900%, evasion plus 900%. Effects last for 30 seconds. Can be used 5 times per day. Vanishing Shadow, current level, LV8, highest level, LV10. SP to upgrade to LV9, 18,000. One of the most advanced concealment techniques of the Feng Sect. After casting, the user's body disappears without even a trace, and even the ghost god isn't able to discover him or her. Effects: conceals the user's body. While concealed, the user cannot attack or counterattack. The concealment is cancelled upon receiving damage. Lasts for 50 seconds, cooldown time, 100 seconds. Burning Shadow, current level, LV5, max level. One of the most advanced concealment techniques of the Feng Sect. After casting, the user's body becomes half real and half illusory, seeming both real and fake like a shadow or fog. Effects: 90% chance of evading any attack, including magic attacks. Lasts for 20 seconds, Cooldown time, 100 seconds. Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curses. Complete and Utter Belief Curse. Lovey Curse. I'm Just a Sheep Curse. Scaredy Cat Curse. Utter Despair Curse. Soul Stealing Curse. Deity Curse. Medium level Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curse. Can't be leveled up. The target will believe you are a deity who has descended from the heavens, and will respect and worship you as well as comply with all of your wishes. The success rate is dependent on the difference in strength between the user and the target's mental energy as well as overall strength. The number of seconds the effect lasts for is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Maximum number of targets is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Costs 10 MP cooldown time, 100 seconds. Irreconcilable Hatred Curse. Medium level Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curse. Can't be leveled up. Can be cast upon multiple targets within one's field of vision. Those affected will feel irreconcilable hatred towards each other, and will want to grind each other's bones to dust. The success rate is dependent on the difference in strength between the user and the target's mental energy as well as overall strength. The number of seconds the effect lasts for is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Maximum number of targets is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Costs 10 MP cooldown time, 100 seconds. Love Magnet Curse. Medium level Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curse. Can't be leveled up. Can be cast upon multiple targets within one's field of vision. Those who are affected, no matter male or female, will fall madly in love with a specified target. The specified target can be the caster or another target. The success rate is dependent on the difference in strength between the user and the target's mental energy as well as overall strength. The number of seconds the effect lasts for is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Maximum number of targets is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Costs 10 MP cooldown time, 100 seconds. We're All Sheep Curse. Medium level Feng Chen Murdering Heart Curse. Can't be leveled up. The upgraded skill for I'm Just a Sheep can be cast upon multiple targets within one's field of vision. Causes all affected to think that they are a sheep. The success rate is dependent on the difference in strength between the user and the target's mental energy as well as overall strength. The number of seconds the effect lasts for is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Maximum number of targets is equivalent to the user's comprehension stat. Costs 10 MP cooldown time, 100 seconds. Holy Spirit's Pearl. The might of the medium-level Feng Chen curse undoubtedly surpassed that of the low-level Feng Chen curses, even able to affect multiple targets. Because Ling Chen has 25 comprehension, he is able to select 25 targets. The two shadow skills are both leveled up, and a third shadow skill had been unlocked, more than doubling Ling Chen's survival abilities. If he met the purple-winged cloud leopard again, he would not be scared at all. Following this, Ling Chen opened Xiao Hui and Ling Er's stats pages, and looked through their abilities, particularly Xiao Hui's. Holy Spirit Beast, Xiao Hui type, Beast Pet, level, LV 50, grade, Heaven's End, owner, Ling Tian. Stats, HP, 50,000, MP, 10,600, physical attack power, 1, magic attack power, 1, physical defense, 3,200, hit, 1, evasion, 1, critical chance, 50%, pierce chance, 50%, movement speed, 350. Passive skills, Soul Devour, Holy Spirit's Shield, LV3, Holy Spirit's Gift, LV3, Thunder Bulwark, Lightning Attraction. Eye of the Holy Spirit, current level, LV4, highest level, LV5, level required to upgrade to LV5, LV60. Uses the Holy Spirit's energy to create a pair of eyes that can see through all hidden things. The higher the level, the more information that can be seen and the greater the range. Effects. Can view detailed information and weaknesses about humans, beasts, devils, demons, gods, ghosts, and spirits that are less than 30 levels higher than the user. The information can be transferred to the master. Has a range of 100 meters and can discover any hidden creatures. Holy Spirit's aura, current level, LV11, highest level, LV20, level required to upgrade to LV12, LV55. Using its Holy Spirit aura that is void of evil and impurity to seek the protection of Mother Nature, it upgrades the innate gifts of itself and all companions. Effect: Luck plus 11 and Comprehension plus 11 when along with the Master and all pet companions. Effect exists even while not summoned. Holy Spirit's Sacrifice, special skill, cannot be leveled up. It uses a pure heart and the Holy Spirit's power to create a sacrifice of life. When the owner or other pets die, it can use its own death to die for them. When multiple beings die, it can use a single death as a sacrifice for all of their deaths. Can be used 3 times every day. Because owner Ling Tian is affected by the Lunar Scourge's debuffs, it does not affect owner Ling Tian. Holy Spirit's Pearl, current level, LV1, highest level, LV3, level required to upgrade to LV2, LV60. The Holy Spirit Beast uses its unique Holy Spirit power to create a special pearl, containing boundless auspiciousness and nature's blessings. Can create 1 pearl every level this skill is raised. When the Holy Spirit's pearl is used on a skill, it can increase the maximum level of the skill by 20%, subject to rounding, and it can instantly raise the skill to the new maximum level. Upon seeing this skill, Ling Chen's eyes widened, and his jaw nearly dropped to the ground. Raise the maximum level by 20%, then directly raise the skill to maximum level. My goodness, this is simply ridiculous. After Xiao Hui's grade increased, the most direct change was the massive increase to his stats. However, though undetectable, the aura of luck and auspiciousness around him had grown denser as well. As for his new skills, Ling Chen had expected that based on how powerful his skills had been when he was only at the celestial grade, the new Heaven's End grade skills would be quite good as well. However, Ling Chen never would have thought that they would be so powerful, and adding on the effect that the skill would instantly be raised to the new maximum level. Even Ling Chen, who had seen all sorts of overpowered skills, couldn't believe his own eyes. Ling Chen immediately squatted down and patted Xiao Hui's head as his eyes, that were as dark as the night, burned with a glowing light.
Xiao Hui, is it really that powerful?
The skill's description had stated quite clearly that every level the skill was upgraded, Xiao Hui would be able to create 1 pearl. This meant that Xiao Hui could create on right now. In that case, the intelligent Xiao Hui immediately understood what his owner was trying to say. He wagged his tail as he moved backwards and suddenly lowered his head, his sharp horn pointing towards Ling Chen. Following this, a ball of gray and purple light gathered on the tip of the horn. Within the light, a pearl gradually formed, and by the time the light dissipated, the pearl was as big as the nail on one's pinky finger. It was completely clear and looked like a normal glass marble. As Xiao Hui gave a light bark, the pearl lightly floated over and fell into Ling Chen's hands. The instant Ling Chen held it, he saw its name, Holy Spirit's Pearl. The description of the pearl was exactly the same as he had read in the skill's description. Ling Chen was completely dumbfounded. This Xiao Hui, who didn't have any battle power, had such shocking support abilities. Just like the White Tiger had said, he possessed the Holy Qilin's bloodline, and could bring to his owner auspiciousness and good luck. However, this wasn't all that Xiao Hui had given him. Without Xiao Hui's companionship, he definitely wouldn't have been able to rise to such a level in the Mystic Moon world. The incredible power of the Holy Spirit's Pearl was evident, and it was also incredibly precious. This skill had a maximum level of LV3, which meant that Xiao Hui would only be able to create 3 Holy Spirit's pearls. Ling Chen decided that he had to use such precious items on the best skills to maximize their effects. Ling Chen immediately thought of a skill. That skill was heaven-defyingly powerful, but raising it to its maximum level would be even more difficult than defying the heavens. Soul Demise. If he used the pearl on this skill. Ling Chen held his breath and opened his skills page. He looked at Soul Demise, which was currently only LV4 and required 150,000 SP to raise to the next level, as he carefully crushed the Holy Spirit's pearl. The shattered Holy Spirit's pearl turned into a ray of light and flew towards the skill on the display. It silently landed on it, and the moment the ray of light disappeared, the skill suddenly flashed as a massive change happened in the skill's description.
Ding! The Holy Spirit's pearl has been successfully used. Your skill's maximum level has been increased by 6 levels and has been raised to LV36.
All of this had happened in just a few seconds. There weren't any complicated steps to follow, nor were there any chaotic images or scenes. Just like that, after crushing the pearl, the effects had taken place. Soul Demise, current level, LV36 max level. A skill that can destroy souls created from one's powerful spirit as the foundation and support. Using Soul Demise will directly attack the target's soul. Single target attack can be activated using both hands or through any weapon. An unseen force attacks the target's soul, ignoring level, grade, defense, absolute defense, and takes away 36% of the target's HP and MP. This attack is absolute hit, and has a 3.6% chance to instantly kill the target, ignoring level, grade, and instant death resistance. Costs 1 MP, can only be used 20 times per day. Cannot be used on the same target within 12 hours. The LV36 Soul Demise was an indescribably heaven-defying skill. Against powerful opponents, the effects would be no less powerful than even the Shura's death domain. With this skill, no matter what level, grade, or type his enemy was, once the enemy was hit, he or she would lose more than a third of their HP and MP. What did this mean? This meant that as soon as the battle started, the enemy would almost be half dead. What was even more terrifying was that there was a 3.6% chance of instantly killing the target. This was regardless of whether the enemy was a godly beast, holy beast, or even a moon goddess. The skill that could instantly kill any enemy actually had a 3.6% chance of activation. This was undoubtedly the most game-breaking skill in the entire Mystic Moon world. It shouldn't exist in the Mystic Moon world, much less be in the hands of a player.
Have I become truly heaven-defying?
Looking at the LV36 skills description over and over again, Ling Chen couldn't help but mutter to himself. Apart from this, Xiao had also unlocked another skill. However, although he had unlocked this skill, he could not use it. Purple Qilin Light, special skill, cannot be leveled up. Unknown effects, unknown casting method. Purple was the color of pure lightning elemental essence. Ling Chen guessed that this skill had some relation to the White Tiger. Comparatively, after reaching LV50, there had not been much changes in Ling Chen, except that she had unlocked a new skill. Soul Lock, current level, LV1, highest level, LV3, level required to upgrade to LV2, LV60. It uses dark underworld power to bind a single target's soul within 30 meters, completely controlling their mind and soul for 10 seconds. Base rate of success is 30%. Consumes 200 MP. Cooldown time, 60 seconds.
Once successful, Ling Chen would be able to control the target's mind and soul with her underworld power. If Ling Chen, or any other player, had obtained this skill, it would be incredibly terrifying. However, Ling Chen understood Ling Chen's personality. Even if she successfully cast this skill, she would not truly control the target. The only thing that she liked were dolls. However, the upgraded, summon undead, gave Ling Chen great delight. Summon Undead, current level, LV2, highest level, LV5, requirements to level up unknown. It uses the death energy from corpses as mediums to summon medium-grade skeleton soldiers from the underworld. The skeleton soldiers assume the profession of the corpse, have the same level as the summoner, and have grades of 1-star elites. The skeleton soldiers fully obey all commands from the summoner. Every corpse can only be used to summon one skeleton soldier. Every summon costs 50 MP, and multiple skeleton soldiers can be simultaneously summoned from multiple corpses. There is no limit to the number of skeleton soldiers that can be in existence. Every skeleton soldier lasts for 10 minutes and will immediately disappear once killed. The LV2 summon undead no longer summon normal skeletons that were the same level as the original players. They would now be 1-star elites. Within the ranks of monsters, 1-star elites were essentially mini-bosses. They were much stronger than normal monsters. If LV1 summoned undead summoned normal monsters, LV2 summoned 1-star elites. Did that mean at LV5 Ling would be able to summon Lord-grade bosses? If that was the case, that would simply be too terrifying. Lord-grade monsters were no doubt bosses, and it would take tens, if not hundreds, of normal players to kill a Lord-grade boss of a similar level. If he summoned an uncountable mass of Lord-grade bosses, merely thinking about it was enough to make his heart tremble. It was simply too terrifying and cruel. Moreover, the cost for summoning had decreased by half. This meant that with the same consumption costs, Ling would be able to double her output. After the skill reached LV2, it became countless times more powerful. LV50 was a great divide in any virtual game. Once someone reached LV50, their abilities and strength would skyrocket. There was only a single level between LV49 and LV50, but the players at LV49 and at LV50 were on completely different levels. After looking at his pet's new skills, Ling Chen happily closed their skill pages and looked up toward Xi Ling in the air. Her return had brought him great comfort and made him much happier than his professions being upgraded.
Xi Ling, welcome back.
Ling Chen smiled as he spoke and stretched out his hand. Xi Ling's return not only meant that she had come back to life, but also meant that she was willing to continue staying by his side. The contract between them had been cancelled, so after Xi Ling had been revived, she was completely free. With her foundations as a Saint Destroyer beast, there was nowhere that she couldn't go, and there was nothing that did not fear her. There was no reason for her to return to a measly human player's side, and yet she had come back. Although he was at the Godchild Peak, she had followed his aura here. When they had found each other, her cries had been full of joy and delight. Xi Ling descended, and because of her size, she was no longer able to stand on Ling Chen's shoulders. Instead, she landed next to Ling Chen and affectionately leaned against him. Unlike Xiao Hui and Ling Xi Ling's intelligence was like that of a human's. The second time Ling Chen had seen her, she was even in human form. This was why she had emotions and feelings like humans, and they were possibly even stronger than those of humans.
Ding! The mysterious god-grade beast Crimson Spirit has recognized you as its master and is willing to become your pet. Would you like to accept? Mysterious god-grade Xi Ling. Although he was somewhat prepared, Ling Chen's heart still trembled when he heard this system announcement. However, Ling Chen did not immediately accept. He looked at Xi Ling as he gently placed his hand on her beautiful feathers.
Xi Ling, it was a great blessing for me to meet you. Back then, I only rescued you at the Lonely Spirit Ridge out of curiosity, and I never thought that you would repay me like this. You've even sacrificed your life twice to save me.
Although you're not the Golden Crow, I'm sure you possess the Golden Crow's bloodline within you. That is the bloodline of a Saint Destroyer beast that represents sovereignty in this world. Back then, I was incredibly weak, and was an otherworlder at the lowest hierarchy in this world. In order to save me, you burned the flames of your life force twice. Your actions caused me to feel moved for the first time in this world, and helped me realize that Saint Destroyer beasts aren't all high and mighty. Instead, their hearts are even purer and kinder than those of humans.
Xi Ling gave a gentle caw, the meaning of which Ling Chen did not fully understand.
Back then, you became my pet so that I could save your life. But now?
Ling Chen shook his head.
Xi Ling, you should know that once you become a player's pet, although your grade will not change, your power will drop to maintain the balance of pets. Moreover, you'll completely lose your freedom, so...
Before Ling Chen could finish speaking, Xi Ling's body flashed with a resplendent and warm red light, which covered her entire body. The light gradually contracted and became narrower and shorter. By the time it disappeared, there was a young girl in front of Ling Chen. Xi Ling was gone, and instead there was a cute and pearl-like young girl wearing red clothes.
Xi Ling, you can become human again?
Looking at the girl in front of him, Ling Chen cried out emotionally. This was the girl who he had met back in the Lonely Spirit Ridge. Xi Ling's human form.
Hee.
The girl was much shorter than Ling Chen and had to look up to face him. She grinned as she met his gaze. Her large eyes looked clear like glass, and she was small and cute. Her waist was quite thin, and her beautiful, soft hair fell on her shoulders. Her flame-red dress was quite cute and looked like a princess-style dress, making her look like a doll.
Big brother? No, master. Did you forget our promise? Wherever master goes, Xi Ling will go as well. Wherever master is, that will be where Xi Ling's home is. This is the promise we made the first day we met. Master already agreed to this.
But no buts. Xi Ling cut Ling Chen off with her sweet voice.
I know that master's saying this for my own good because he doesn't want me to lose my strength and my freedom. Master's always so good to me. However, even though I have so much power, because of the rules, I can't fight with master or protect master. If that's the case, what's the point of this strength? Although I'll lose some of my strength, if I become master's pet, I'll at least be able to fight by master's side, and can face all those difficult enemies with master together. I am willing to, even if I have to lose all of my current strength.
Even though I'll lose my freedom, I was happiest back when I was by master's side. Even though I'll lose my freedom, I'll be able to stay by master's side. Even if master wants to chase me away or abandon me, he won't be able to do so.
Xi Ling's eyes glittered like shining stars. There was a deep look of hope and expectation within those beautiful eyes, making Ling Chen feel as if his heart was going to melt. Xi Ling continued,
So, master, please let Xi Ling continue to stay by your side just like before, all right?
Looking at this girl, who was as beautiful as a rose, Ling Chen felt as if none of this was real. He put his hands on Xi Ling's small shoulders as he asked emotionally,
Xi Ling, am I really worth it for you to do all this? Of course.
Xi Ling earnestly nodded and then smiled.
Master saved Xi Ling's life, so Xi Ling's life belongs to master anyways. If master doesn't dislike Xi Ling, please don't reject her. Ding! The mysterious god Great Beast Crimson Spirit has recognized you as its master and is willing to become your pet. Would you like to accept?
Hearing this system announcement, Ling Chen did not hesitate anymore. He smiled as he nodded and accepted. A white light enveloped him, and Xi Ling before it quickly disappeared.
Ding! Crimson Spirit has become your pet. Crimson Spirit was once your pet and was named Xi Ling. Would you like to rename her?
No. Ling Chen immediately declined.
Ding! Your pet Crimson Spirit ranks as the #1 pet on China's pet rankings. Do you wish to hide your personal information? No need.
Ling Chen was slightly surprised, but then he quickly realized something. Snow Cherry had originally been at the top of the pet rankings, but this position was now taken by Xi Ling. This meant that Xi Ling was still at least mysterious god grade. At the lava purgatory, under the Vermillion bird's soul flames, she had not only been reborn, but had become even stronger.
Ding! Your pet Xi Ling has returned to you and has become mysterious god grade. All of her stats have been greatly increased and her passive skills have been upgraded. Her Ruthless Flames have been leveled up to LV5, Wild Flames have been upgraded to Heaven Burning Flames, Red Laser has been upgraded into Solar Laser, Burning Fire Array has been leveled up to LV5. She has unlocked the new skills, Pale Flames, Phoenix Arrow, Vermillion Judgment, Dazzling Red Lotus, and World Burning Heavenly Flames.
Xi Ling had returned even stronger than she was before. As the system announcement sounded out, Xi Ling's stats appeared in front of Ling Chen. Crimson Spirit, Type, Beast Pet, Level, LV50 Grade, Mysterious God, Master, Ling Tian. A fire spirit beast that possesses the Golden Crow's bloodline. It has a beautiful appearance and extreme fire abilities. It can also use the sun's flames. It is currently not yet mature, and its power has not fully matured either. After exhausting its life force, it was brought back to life by the Vermillion bird's soul flames and received part of the Vermillion bird's strength, awakening its dormant phoenix bloodline.
Wait! Phoenix?
Ling Chen was dumbfounded. The words Golden Crow had appeared within Xi Ling's description, which meant that the system recognized that she possessed the Golden Crow's bloodline. However, that bloodline was not pure. The description had also mentioned the phoenix. Back then, Qiyu had told him that phoenixes were ancient godly beasts, and that the strongest being within the Phoenix clan had been at the Saint Destroyer grade. Back then, the Phoenix clan and Dragon clan were the overlords, but after a catastrophe, the Phoenix clan became extinct and no one had seen a phoenix ever again. By now, phoenixes had become a myth. Qiyu possessed 10,000 years of knowledge, which meant that even 10,000 years ago, the Phoenix clan had already been extinct. So why was the Phoenix bloodline mentioned in Xi Ling's description? Could it be that she not only possessed the Golden Crow's bloodline, but also the Phoenix clan's bloodline? Could she be the offspring of the Golden Crow and a phoenix? Ling Chen continued to read. Attributes, HP, 6,000, MP, 120,000, Physical Attack Power, 1,200, Magic Attack Power, 48,000, Physical Defense, 60, Movement Speed, 220. Elemental Resistances, Water, minus 30%, Fire, 200%, Wind, 80%, Lightning, 80%, Earth, 80%, Light, 80%, Darkness, 80%. Passive abilities. Can fly up to 50 meters high while carrying people. Automatically recovers 2% MP every second. Can absorb any form of fire damage and freely convert it to MP or HP, and the owner and fellow pets become immune to fire damage. Flame Attack, Normal Attack, cannot be upgraded. Burns all targets within a 10-meter range with Ruthless Flames, and the damage dealt is equivalent to Magic Attack Power. Consumes 20 MP. No cooldown. Ruthless Flames, current level, LV5, max level. A passive skill of the Golden Crow bloodline. It uses one soul to create and control ruthless flames that do not require natural fire elemental essence to be created. It ignores all resistances to fire, and it possesses greater temperature and destructive power than normal flames. Effects: ignores fire resistances, fire attacks do not require channeling, does not ignore negative fire resistances. For monsters that are weak against fire attacks, the extra damage still applies. All fire attacks deal 50% more damage and contain a medium destruction element. It is incredibly destructive to things that are weak against fire. Heaven Burning Flames,
current level, LV8, highest level, LV10, level required to upgrade to LV9, LV60. It unleashes boundless rootless flames, mercilessly burning all targets within 50 meters, dealing 400% magic attack power to the targets, with a 30% chance to add a burn effect for 10 seconds. Consumes 500 MP cooldown time, 5 seconds. Solar laser, current level, LV8, highest level, LV10, level required to upgrade to LV9, LV60. Condensing rootless flames into a bright and burning light from the sun, it shoots down a searing laser from the skies to a single target, dealing fire damage equivalent to 1000% magic attack power, with a 100% chance to add a burn effect for 10 seconds. Once locked on, it cannot be evaded. Consumes 1000 MP, cooldown time, 10 seconds. Phoenix Arrow, current level, LV5, max level. A destructive skill from the Phoenix bloodline. Uses the Phoenix's flames to create a crimson shadow that pierces through 200 meters in front of it, burning everything in its path. Deals 500% magic attack power, and has a 10% chance to add a burn effect for 5 seconds. It can even burn the surroundings. Consume 600 MP cooldown time, 10 seconds. Vermillion Judgment, current level, LV5, max level. A destructive skill from the Vermillion Bird's soul flames. Spreads the Vermillion Bird's flames in an area of 50 meters, causing all targets within the range to take fire damage equivalent to 100% magic attack power every second for 10 seconds. Consumes 1500 MP cooldown time, 30 seconds. Burning Fire Array, current level, LV5, max level. Uses rootless flames to cover all directions, creating a destructive formation array of heavenly flames that burn all targets within its radius. Covers 200 meters around the caster, dealing damage equivalent to 10,000 plus magic attack power x10, with a 100% chance to add a burn effect. Takes 5 seconds to set up the formation array and burns for 3 seconds. Consumes 13,000 MP cooldown time, 2 hours. 9 Suns Rebirth, fixed skill, cannot be leveled up. After dying, it uses the power of the 9 suns to revive. After reviving, there will not be any loss, but will not be able to fight within 1 hour. The power of the 9 suns is limitless, and the 9 suns rebirth can be used an unlimited number of times. Pale Flames, special skill, cannot be leveled up. A unique flame that belongs solely to Xi Ling, created by combining the Golden Crow, Phoenix, and Vermillion Bird's flames. After fusing these flames from different origins, a terrifying white flame is created. Once activated, all of the flames Xi Ling releases will become white. The white flames ignore all resistances to fire, and deal triple the amount of fire damage. They also destroy everything they come into contact with. After activating, consumes 3000 MP per second and can be maintained for 30 seconds at most. Can be used once every day. Because Xi Ling's strength is insufficient, the power of her flames will fall asleep for 3 hours after use. Dazzling Red Lotus, forbidden skill, cannot be leveled up. The most destructive ability from the Vermillion Bird clan. Cannot be used yet, because the Vermillion Bird's flames have not yet fully fused with Xi Ling's soul. World-burning heavenly flames, forbidden skill, cannot be leveled up. The most destructive ability from the Phoenix bloodline. Cannot be used yet, because Xi Ling's Phoenix bloodline has not fully awakened. Heavenly Wrath of the 9 Suns, a destructive forbidden skill from the Golden Crow's bloodline, cannot be upgraded. It releases its own source of power and condenses flames similar to the 9 suns into an ultimate flame that can burn anything. When it reaches the peak of its strength, the flames of the sun can be directly used. The fire doesn't distinguish friend from foe, and the damage is equivalent to
magic attack power x 9x Crimson Spirit's current level. The maximum range can be controlled within a range equivalent to Xi Ling's magic attack power. Consumes all current MP cooldown time, 1 month. Because Xi Ling's strength is vastly insufficient, it is best not to use it. If forcefully used, Xi Ling will fall unconscious for 3 days, her maximum HP will permanently decrease by 20%, and her level will fall by 10. Vermillion Bird's heart without a doubt. Xi Ling was the most extreme attack-type pet. The power of the Heaven's End grade, Xi Ling already greatly surpassed Ling Chen, and despite being a pet, she was able to even insta-kill Lord grade bosses of a similar level. Now that Xi Ling was mysterious god grade, no matter if it was her strength or the range of her attacks, they were completely shocking. For normal monsters around the same level, no matter how much defense or fire resistance they had, they would undoubtedly still be insta-killed. As for Lord grade bosses of a similar level, a single solar laser was enough to insta-kill them without giving them a chance to even struggle. Just the Golden Crow alone was the most powerful attacker out of the 5 Saint Destroyer beasts. It essentially represented the extremes of attack power within the Forgotten Continent. Within Xi Ling was not only the Golden Crow's flames, but also the Vermillion Bird's soul flames, as well as the ancient Phoenix clan's flames. The 3 sovereigns of flames were all mixed within Xi Ling's body. Compared to her attack power, her life force was incredibly pitiful. Despite being a mysterious god-grade beast, her HP was only 10% that of Xiao's. However, with her attack power, how many enemies could attack her before they were insta-killed? Moreover, their Xiao was protecting her as well.
Phoenix's flames, Vermillion Bird's flames. I understand that she has the Vermillion Bird's flames because she was reborn from the Vermillion Bird's soul flames, so her life force is filled with the Vermillion Bird's soul flames. However, the Phoenix bloodline, this is simply incomprehensible.
Qi's voice sounded out in Ling Chen's mind. She knew much more than Ling Chen about the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan had gone extinct 10,000 years ago, and was never mentioned again. Who would have thought that the Phoenix bloodline would reappear after 10,000 years? After thinking for a while, Qi spoke tactfully.
In that case, there's only one explanation. Xi Ling does not possess only the Golden Crow's bloodline or the Phoenix's bloodline, but a mixture of both. No wonder why she was able to use the flames of the 9 suns, but also have it look so different to the Golden Crows. But aren't the Phoenix and Golden Crow 2 different tribes? They can mate?
Ling Chen looked at Xi Ling as he wondered.
It's indeed possible. After reaching their level and grade, they're able to freely transform into their human form. Just like the little Xi Ling in front of you, she's in her human form, right? If little master wants, you can mate with her,
Qi said as her tone became racy.
Ling Chen. Email protected, #$%. It's just that as a Saint Destroyer beast, the Golden Crow is restricted by the Mystic Moon World's rules. There has only ever been one Golden Crow in existence. As such, the Golden Crow uses the flames of the 9 suns to give birth to the Golden Crow of the next generation. This process is extremely slow, and when the Golden Crow of the next generation is birthed, the previous Golden Crow will immediately die. The Phoenix clan was not too large or too small. They also possessed a single Saint Destroyer grade Phoenix as their leader. It was just that the Phoenixes were too proud and looked down on all other beings. They would never allow their bloodline to be mixed with something else and have impurities. As such, they never mate with other clans. In fact, this is a rule that they've never dared to disobey, for the punishments are incredibly severe. That means that there was a single Phoenix that broke this rule and mated with the Golden Crow, giving birth to Xi Ling?
Ling Chen asked.
That's right, and that Phoenix was actually the only Saint Destroyer Phoenix, the clan leader of the Phoenix clan,
Qi said slowly.
What? Ling Chen was quite shocked. How do you know that? It's very simple. It's not too difficult for demons, devils, and spirits to take human form, but for beasts, they must be at least at the Saint Destroyer grade. This is not an exception even for the Phoenix clan. If the Phoenix wanted to mate with the Golden Crow, they would both have to be in their human forms. There was only ever one Saint Destroyer grade Phoenix, so the answer is quite evident. Wait! Ling Chen suddenly cut in as he looked at Xi Ling. But isn't Xi Ling only at the mysterious god grade? Why can't she turn into her human form? I'm not sure. Perhaps it's because of some mutation brought by the fusing of the Golden Crow and Phoenix's bloodlines. After all, the Phoenix clan leader and the Golden Crow were both Saint Destroyer grade existences and were both sovereigns of fire. Their mating was an act that defied the heavens, so their offspring might not be bound by the rules of this world, Xiao explained. The clan leader broke one of the Phoenix clan's greatest taboos. If this matter was spread, this would cause an uproar within the Phoenix clan. As such, no matter if it was the Phoenix clan's clan leader or the Golden Crow, they protected this secret with their lives and gave birth to little Xi Ling in secret. Afterwards, the Phoenix clan faced a great catastrophe and went extinct. No one knows how the Golden Crow died. It's possible that it died together with all of the phoenixes after that catastrophe. Afterwards, Xi Ling was finally born, but she was quite unlucky in that after she was born, she was discovered by the Demon Beast clan. Because she was too young and did not possess enough strength, she was sealed by the Demon Beast clan within their Demon Beast silk until she met Little Master. Ling Chen carefully thought about what Xiao had said, and then spoke in a soft voice. Perhaps that's the truth. The pain from being imprisoned for 10,000 years is not something that people who have never experienced it can imagine. In those 10,000 years, I'm sure Xi Ling wanted to escape from there every day. Her gratitude towards Little Master for saving her is just as strong as her desire to leave there. Afterwards, in order to save her, Little Master risked his life to go to the lava purgatory to find the Vermillion bird. This gratitude slowly developed into something else. As such, Little Master, you should accept Xi Ling's goodwill. She has evidently decided to devote all of her time repaying you. This isn't something she has forced herself to do, but something she enjoys doing. Even if Little Master wants to mate with little Xi Ling, I'm sure she'd be willing, Xiao said, as she flirtatiously laughed. Ling Chen wisely chose not to reply. This is great! After becoming Ling Chen's pet again, Xi Ling was incredibly delighted. The smile on her face bloomed like a flower. I've become stronger than before, and I can help Master more. That's right. Xi Ling suddenly thought of something. She stretched out her arms, and a soccer ball-sized object covered by a crimson-red light appeared within her palms. Big Sister Vermillion Bird said that if I decided to return to Master's side and found Master, I should give this to Master. This is Big Sister Vermillion Bird's heart. She said it can help Master. When mentioning the Vermillion Bird, a trace of sadness appeared within Xi Ling's eyes. After all, her life had been saved by the Vermillion Bird's death. The Vermillion Bird wanted to give this to me? Ling Chen received it in shock. This crimson-red ball was unexpectedly heavy, and he almost dropped it. After getting a solid hold on it with great difficulty, Ling Chen looked at its description. Vermillion Bird's heart, the core of the guardian beast's heart. It contains the most power out of any other part of the Vermillion Bird's body. Not only does it contain immense power, but it can also absorb nature energy to go through rebirth. However, apart from the Vermillion Bird, other creatures will find it incredibly difficult to control its power. The Vermillion Bird's heart. It was evidently the same sort of thing as the white tiger's heart. They both came from guardian beasts, and they are the cores of their hearts. They were both where the guardian beast's energy was most concentrated,
the only difference being the attributes of the power they contained. Although Ling Chen didn't know what they did, things that come from the bodies of guardian beasts definitely were not ordinary. Ling Chen put away the vermilion bird's heart and bent down as he smiled at Xi Ling.
I'll look after it properly. I didn't do anything for the vermilion bird, yet I received such immense favor from it. Now that you've returned to my side, I don't know how to thank it. It's just that even if I want to thank it, it would be impossible. That's not for sure, 11 Ling said as she smiled and looked up.
Hmm?
An expression of surprise appeared on Ling Chen's face.
Could it be that the vermilion bird didn't die?
However, the vermilion bird's heart was in his hands. That was the core of its heart. Without its heart, how could the vermilion bird still be alive?
Master will know when he's met big sister Chi.
After saying half of her sentence, Xi Ling suddenly remembered something and yelled, as her smile was replaced with a panicked expression.
Chi has returned as well?
If Xiao had also returned safely, that would also be a great surprise. However, Ling Chen immediately noticed Xi Ling's strange expression and hurriedly asked,
Xi Ling, what's wrong?
Oh no. Xi Ling stretched out her hand and grabbed Ling Chen's arm as she worriedly shook it while on the verge of tears.
After meeting Master again, I was so happy that I forgot the most important thing. Master, we need to go quickly. There are lots of people attacking the new city, and although Chi's defeated some of them, there will be many more of them attacking soon. There aren't many people left, and it's impossible for them to hold out. They've all been looking for Master and waiting for Master to go to them.
What? Ling Chen's expression suddenly fell. He hurriedly opened his communication device and immediately saw countless messages asking him to immediately go to the new city. The earliest one was more than 20 hours ago. Ling Chen deeply breathed in as he calmly asked,
Xi Ling, from when you left to now, how long has it been?
I don't know. Xi Ling shook her head.
It's been a long time. Because I once had a contract with Master, I could still trace Master, so I flew directly from the new city to here. I flew for a very long time.
Ling Chen did not dally as he turned and yelled,
Snow Cherry, come back.
1,000 meters away, because Snow Cherry hadn't received any instructions from Ling Chen, she had obediently waited in the air the entire time. Upon hearing Ling Chen's yell, she rushed over at her full speed and arrived in the blink of an eye. Ling Chen jumped on and took out the last spatial orb in his bag.
Ling Chen, are you all right?
Shadisika immediately leapt into Ling Chen's arms, looking anxious and scared. Her eyes were drawn over to Xi Ling in red and gave a soft "ee." Xi Ling was also looked at her in curiosity, and after locking gazes, they looked towards Ling Chen with a questioning gaze.
Who is this girl?
Xi asked. It was the first time you had seen this snow-white girl.
This is a girl who I met behind the mysterious door. There are some things I want to ask you about her, but the situation is urgent, so we'll talk about it later.
Ling Chen quickly replied to Qiyu. He put his arm around Shadisika.
Sha, we're going to go to another place. It will be quite chaotic there, and when everything has settled down, I'll introduce some good friends to you. Xi Ling, Xiao, Snow Cherry, let's go.
As the spatial orb shattered, Ling Chen disappeared within a flash of white light. The instant he disappeared, a dense killing intent emanated out from his body. No matter who you are, and whether you succeeded or not, everyone who has participated in attacking in the new city should prepare themselves for terrifying retribution.
Yellow Spring Struggle Formation 2 hours prior. 10 or so hours had passed since the Yin-Huang Alliance's first wave had attacked the new city. Following this, the other attackers, who had been lying in wait, had finally moved out as well, forming the largest attacking force ever seen in China's virtual gaming history. An army of such a scale looked simply unstoppable, but they were faced with the Skyfall dynasty,
who had suddenly joined the defenders, and Xi. This battle, which should have been easily won, was now tied up in a shocking stalemate because of Xi's return. It was almost impossible to keep count of the casualties, and everyone knew that it would be an incredibly mind-blowing number. Despite having 15 million attackers, they simply couldn't beat back the 3.5 million defenders. This massive battle of attack and defense went from night to dawn, and then from dawn to midday without any pause at all or orders of retreat. The defenders had nowhere to retreat to, and the attackers could not retreat no matter what. Once they retreated, they would be filled with humiliation that could never be washed away. What caused all of this was the strange and miraculous formation that covered the entire battlefield. The formation continuously controlled the battle, giving the defenders countless opportunities and making the attackers suffer bitterly. It was only because of this formation were the defenders able to contend against a force that was 5 times greater than theirs. The Yin Huang alliance and the other attackers desperately looked for the weak points in the formation, and despite sending out more and more people, they couldn't find anything at all. After fighting for such a long time, both sides were in a state of severe mental exhaustion. The pace of the battle slowed down, but with such large forces, the number of people dying each second was still astronomical. Xi's formation still affected the battlefield. As for Xi, she had fallen into a very dangerous state. Xi was holding Heavenly Star with her eyes closed, a calm expression on her face as she continuously controlled the formation. However, there was not a trace of blood in her face, and her hands holding the Heavenly Star had long since started to shake. Beads of sweat constantly rolled down her forehead. Xiao stood beside Xi, continuously wiping her sweat, while also trying to convince her to stop and rest. However, Xi, who had always been obedient and found it difficult to refuse others, determinedly stayed silent and persisted. Although she knew the consequences of overusing the Heaven's Secret's power, the new city behind her contained the hopes and dreams of countless people. She was willing to give up her life for this. During this period of time, the Sword Emperor had left the battlefield twice to recover, yet Xi had not stopped at all. She knew that once she stopped controlling the Heaven's Secret's formation, the defenders would immediately be overwhelmed by the attackers and collapse in an instant. Li Xiaoshui knew this too, so although her heart ached seeing Xi like this, she didn't try to force her to stop. It was approaching noon, and they had unknowingly guarded her for almost an entire day. Ling Tian, who they had been calling out to in their hearts, still had not appeared, but the new city still had not been destroyed yet. The first wave of attackers had been obliterated by Xiao, and the second wave had been stopped by Xi's amazing formation and willpower. However, she was reaching her limits. Xi was just a girl who everyone recalled as weak and tender. She wasn't a god. Little Su, the way Li Xiaoshui spoke to Xi changed. The Xi she saw today completely changed her impression of her. She truly liked and respected this girl from the bottom of her heart. You're so amazing. If the new city can really overcome this disaster, you'll become the author of this miracle. Since we've persisted until now, let's make a final struggle. Li Xiaoshui turned and looked at Xiao, Feng, and Skyfall. There was not a trace of weariness in her eyes, and although her voice was hoarse from speaking, there was still an air of confidence within it. Heavenly King Skyfall and Alliance Master Xiao immediately give the order for people not to use ultimate skills with long cooldown times, so they can keep them and use them at a moment's notice. By now, Skyfall and Xiao Feng understood that every order from Li Xiaoshui was incredibly important. They immediately relayed her order. Li Xiaoshui turned and looked at the battlefield littered with corpses as a hazy and profound look appeared in her eyes. No matter if we win or lose, this battle is fated to go down in history. Su, shrink down the formation and try to make it so that the formation mostly covers our own players. Cancel the current formation and prepare to activate. the Yellow Spring Struggle Formation. Xu slightly lowered her hands, and just this simple action took her an enormous amount of her strength, causing her body to slightly sway. The light around the heavenly star did not change, and the new formation was not immediately activated. Xuer's white lips parted as she asked with a slight sense of hesitation. "Do we really have to use that?" Li Xiao nodded. "We've already given it all, and many miracles have happened. As such, no matter what the result is, we'll leave it to the heavens will. Even if we lose, we have to make the other side suffer a heavy loss in exchange for their victory." Xu did not say anything else and raised up the heavenly star again. The formation quickly shrank and changed. In the next instant, a large formation of light flashed on the battlefield and then disappeared. Compared to the formation from before, this one was a third of the size, and it didn't extend to the northernmost parts of the battlefield. The light of the formation was now blood-red. The Yellow Spring Struggle Formation was the cruelest formation out of Xuer's 12 Heaven Secrets formations. Once the formation was activated, the physical attack power and magic attack power of everyone within the formation were doubled while their physical and magic defense and resistances fell to 0. There was also a mental effect. The formation would bring out all of the violence that resided within people. Yellow Spring Struggle Formation. A cruel formation that allowed people to give a final struggle with one foot already in the yellow springs of death. This was a Heaven Secrets formation that Li Xiao did not want to use, because once this formation was activated, it would mean that their final struggle had begun. However, at this moment, she had no other choice. Xu couldn't last for much longer. Li Xiao was incredibly intelligent and dabbled in many things including medicine. Moreover, she was an esper herself. From Xuer's complexion, she could tell that she had depleted all of her mental energy and was now consuming her life force. As such, she decisively made this decision. Heavenly King Skyfall and Alliance Master Xiao, give the order, disperse the defensive formation and form an attacking formation. All professions, including shield bearers, are to give up on defending and attack at all costs. With the Yellow Spring Struggle Formation activated, once Li Xiao's orders were spread, the battlefield became a terrifying purgatory of death. The defenders gave up on their goal of defending the new city and roared as they unleashed all of their ultimate skills with their boosted attack power. With millions of players unleashing their ultimate skills, and with everyone's defense lowered, in just a few seconds countless attacking players were annihilated, leaving behind innumerable corpses. This beautiful attack felt like a sharp blade had stabbed into the attackers, causing Long Tian Yuan and the other leaders' faces to fall. Following this, the Yellow Spring Struggle Formation's effects on the players' minds manifested, causing all players to possess a frantic desire to cut their enemies into 1,000 pieces. Boundless hatred swept out from the players, igniting like a flame that shot to the heavens. Everyone's expressions changed as their faces became savage as a beast's. The attackers forgot their goal of destroying the new city, and the defenders forgot their duty to protect the new city. They couldn't even hear the orders of their leaders anymore. Their entire world became one of killing. They had never felt such strong killing intent before. The two oceans of players madly leapt at each other, and everyone had frenzied expressions on their faces as they roared. Their killing intent and hatred could be felt in the air, and the slaughter became countless times as intense as before. The earth shook as the sky darkened, and the wind began to howl. There was only a single thought in everyone's minds, madly attacking their enemies. Behind every player and under their feet were masses of corpses, and beside them, numerous people fell every second. While their attack power had been greatly boosted, their defense had plummeted. Every one of their attacks would cause enemies to fall like stalks of wheat that had been cut. The battlefield spiraled out of control and fell into utter chaos. Every second, countless players died. The entire battlefield was like a massive meat grinder,
and under the effects of the Yellow Spring struggle formation, the players only had attacking on their minds. The only thing that both the attackers and defenders could think of were their enemies dying. On the platform, Xiao, Feng and Skyfall looked at each other and nodded. They jumped off the platform and rushed into the battlefield. Now that the situation had become like this, there was no need for them to give orders anymore. The two heaven-ranking experts were like two indestructible blades that pierced into the battlefield. The cold magistrate Xiao Feng was at the front, whirling his heavy sword around as he roared. Wherever he passed, no one even saw how he attacked, but the players he passed would fall in droves. The Apocalypse Judge Skyfall followed behind him. In just this short period of time, he had already summoned 20 powerful monsters that ripped into the enemy's lines. Soldiers at the city walls, the battle raged on, with mad killing happening everywhere. From above, the intense and desperate battle stretched as far as the eye could see. Li Xiao did not give any more orders, and instead watched on with a terrifyingly calm gaze. After their initial shock, Long Tian Yuan and the other leaders gradually calmed down and silently watched the battle progress, because no one could control this sort of situation anymore. With such a large and chaotic battlefield, even if someone had the power to topple the heavens and flip the earth, they wouldn't be able to control the situation. As such, they could only watch on. On the platform, the only person who could maintain their cool was Li Xiao. Yun Meng Xian and Shao Qi's faces paled. Although they had been watching the battle unfold for a long time, the sudden desperation and intensity of the battle gave them a great shock, making it difficult for them to accept what was happening. Upon seeing such a scene, they felt as if they were seeing a mountain of bones and sea of blood. Suer's eyes were tightly closed, and there was still red light hovering around the heavenly star, maintaining the Yellow Spring struggle formation. By now, her consciousness had already become hazy, and she couldn't sense anything other than her own body. She was barely holding on with her willpower. In just an hour, under the frantic attacks of the defenders, the attackers had lost nearly 2 million players, while the defenders had lost around 700,000 players. They now had less than 500,000 players remaining. The region of the battle shrank, but remained just as intense. Against the Sky and Judging Sky had both died in battle in succession, and Yun Feng had also died twice. However, they would always immediately rush back to the battlefield. Skyfall and Xiao Feng had each died once as well. Their strength was undeniable, but in the end, they were not invincible gods, and they could not retreat as they wished like the Sword Emperor. Only Mu Bingyao, winter of that year and 100 miles of ice, had not fallen, but their minds and bodies were incredibly fatigued. No one noticed a hazy dot appear high in the air that was difficult to see with the naked eye. The figure swept his eyes around the battlefield with a calm expression, as if what he saw was not a purgatory of death, but a group of ignorant children playing pretend. His gaze fell on Suer as he gave a light sigh.
What a silly child! Even if you blame me, I can't watch on as you harm yourself.
After speaking with a voice filled with pain, he stretched out his hand and gently swept it out. The heavenly star in Suer's hand fell to the ground as she fell backwards.
Su!
Yun Meng Xian and Shao Qi rushed up, catching Suer's strengthless body. Suer's face was deathly pale, and she breathed shallowly. Her body was covered with sweat, and she had lost consciousness. The Yellow Spring struggle formation had been deactivated the moment she fell unconscious.
Let her have a good rest.
Upon seeing that Suer had fallen unconscious, Li Xiao let out a breath and then looked back towards the battlefield with a trace of worry in her gaze. The hazy figure in the sky gave a light sigh and disappeared. Although the Yellow Spring struggle formation had disappeared, the players remained just as berserk and full of bloodlust. The savage slaughter continued, but the pace of the battle had once again slowed. The players slowly regained their rationality, which spelt the beginning of a crisis for the defenders, who were at a numbers disadvantage. The attackers, who held an overwhelming advantage in numbers, started to form orderly ranks again, using their numbers advantage to devour the groups of defenders. They formed small encirclements, separating and dispersing the defenders. Li Xiaoshui gave a heavy sigh. Without Suer's Heaven Secrets formations, no matter how intelligent she was, she would not be able to affect the situation. This was not like in the real world where she could use time, place, people, and strategies to twist things her way. The rules in the virtual world were set, and they were not things that mere players could change. Suer's were already incredibly heaven-defying. Li Xiaoshui did not give any more orders, because the situation was now beyond her control. The battlefield began to fall back into order, and the remaining defenders were quickly devoured by the attacking forces. In the end, they were completely dispersed, and their numbers fell down to less than 100,000 players. However, the other side still had more than 4 million players. Regardless, within the virtual world, 3.5 million players holding out against more than 10 million players was a miracle that had never happened before. Li Xiaoshui was certain that even if the Skyfall dynasty and Battle Alliance were completely destroyed, they would still be the victors. Their fame and reputation would explosively rise because of this event. However, no one knew that the one who had truly created this miracle was a weak girl holding a horsetail whisk.
Meng Xian.
Li Xiaoshui turned to look at Yunmeng Xian. Out of everyone, the person who could not accept defeat was Meng Xian. The new city behind them contained far too much of her hard work, hopes, and dreams. Yunmeng Xian sat at one side of the platform, allowing Suer to lean against her as she finally rested. Hearing Li Xiaoshui's words, she looked up, understanding the intention in her look. However, there was not any despair within her eyes as she gently smiled.
It's fine. Before Chi and Su returned, I wouldn't be able to accept the new city, which contains all of our sweat, blood, and tears being destroyed. However, now, no matter what happens, I won't be afraid. I have such amazing sisters who are working hard with me. What do I have to fear? Rather than the new city, they are my pride and joy.
She gave a beautiful smile that could even topple a city, causing even Li Xiaoshui to space out for a moment. Li Xiaoshui carefully looked at Yunmeng Xian's face as she marveled.
Meng Xian, you're truly a woman who all other women envy. Even if you have nothing else, simply because of your looks, 99.9% of men would be willing to give up everything for you. Most of the remaining 0.01% are homosexual, and the remaining ones are insane. If you wanted to, you would be able to obtain the city behind you with just a few words, and anything else you wanted. However, you're evidently not that sort of person, otherwise Chi and Su wouldn't be such good sisters with you, nor would Ling Tian care so much about you.
Yunmeng Xian smiled, and did not say anything. Despite only exchanging a few words, they felt much better about the impending demise of the new city. Li Xiaoshui held her communication device as she calmly said,
Bing Yao, Yun Feng, Heavenly King Skyfall, please come back. Perhaps we can only use that method.
Under the vicious assault from the attackers, the surviving Skyfall dynasty and Battle Alliance players were slowly being completely wiped out. Yun Feng, Xiao Feng, Mu Bingyao, the three heavenly kings, winter of that year, and 100 miles of ice all retreated to the platform as they watched the final remnants of the defenders' army being destroyed. However, there was not any despair in their hearts, for they knew that being able to last until now was already incredible. In fact, this was one of the greatest miracles in the virtual world. After the final defender died, there were no more obstacles in front of the attackers. Long Tian Yun and the other leaders came to the front of their respective armies, bringing their 4 million players to the walls of the city. However, in contrast to Li Xiaoshui and the others, none of them were able to smile. All of their faces were as dark as the bottom of a pot, especially Tian's. He looked like he had just eaten a pot of hot dung. The Skyfall Dynasty and Battle Alliance had been wiped out, but the attackers had lost 11 million players. They never thought that such a thing could happen, nor could they accept it. Behind this massive figure was a massive loss in terms of strength and resources. As for the Yin Huang Alliance, they had lost 2 million players in their first wave, and all of their equipment had been destroyed. They had also lost 5 million players in the second wave. Whenever he thought of the losses, Tian felt like coughing up blood. This sort of loss almost exceeded the gains in obtaining a player city. The Yin Huang Alliance had always been high and mighty, and all of the deaths they had suffered in the past added together wouldn't be as much as what they had suffered today. The soldiers were now able to go to the walls unopposed, and the thing they desired most was right in front of them. Looking at the losers on the platform, Tian could not smile at all. He ground his teeth as he finally spoke. Good, good, Heavenly King Skyfall, good, good, Li Xiao Shui. Ha ha, Alliance Master Long, you look quite disappointed. Apologies, but we're not going to let you take the city so easily. All of you had 15 million players in total, but now you have less than 4 million remaining. After you obtain the city creation token and build your own city, will you forget this number? Li Xiaoshui said as she smiled, evidently mocking him. Tianyun's chest heaved as an unsightly cold smile appeared on his face. Our losses were indeed quite great. However, Big Miss Li, I'm sure that you spent much more than us in setting up this formation. Hey, at the very least, we're the winners in the end. It's a pity that despite all of your struggling and your expenditures, you're still going to lose the city. Upon hearing Tianyun's words, Li Xiaoshui and the others smirked. Expenditures? Ha. The attackers would never believe that the formation came from a single girl and had nothing to do with Li Xiaoshui. Apart from Suer's strength, they had spent nothing at all. The ones who had truly suffered loss were the Skyfall Dynasty, Battle Alliance, Disillusion Alliance, and Snow Moon Luan. Li Xiaoshui smiled as she replied, Then I'll have to disappoint you. Out of the Li family, only I participated in this battle, and I didn't spend a single cent. What might disappoint you even more is that, back then, I decided that if we couldn't protect the city, we would give up on the new city and take back the city creation token. Even if you killed me, you wouldn't necessarily be able to obtain the city creation token. As for who I'll give it to, that'll be up to me. At the very least, it won't be you. Tianyun's face darkened as he wildly laughed. Really now? You think you can just take it back? All right, do it then. I want to see if you can take it back faster or if I can destroy the city faster. All players, heed my orders, destroy the city. Yes. Tianyun finally lost his patience as he suddenly gave the order to destroy. The massive army roared in response as 4 million attackers charged towards the platform and the wall of vines. In the east, somewhere no one noticed. Aya, looks like I need to act. Yola, do you want to come with me? The woman slightly raised her head as her red hair blew in the breeze. She was wrapped in tight red clothes and had a slim waist and a full bottom. Her two slim and long, snow-white legs were exposed, giving off a succubus-like air. Big sis, are we really going to go? If you act, it's more than likely that you'll be exposed. The girl called Yola replied. Of course, being exposed isn't good. However, if that despicable man found out that I sat by and didn't do anything, it would be even worse. Vermillion players, should I play with them slowly or quickly get rid of them? I hate making choices, eh? The woman in red suddenly paused as she looked over and smiled. Looks like I don't need to make this decision. That despicable man still likes to play the hero and arrive at the last moment.
He's so annoying that I want to tie him up and smack his ass. Come to think of it, he owes me his ass 3 times now."
The eyes of the woman in red narrowed as she smiled and folded her arms around her bountiful breasts, looking like she was going to stand by and watch. Beside her, Yola started sweating as she heard the "owes me his ass 3 times." Shattering the heavens and shaking the earth after using a spatial orb to teleport from the Godchild Peak to the north of the fairy forest, the scene that greeted Ling Chen's eyes gave him a big fright. The grassy plains that he remembered were gone. Instead, it was replaced by an incredibly large city that seemed to stretch on forever. The city had mostly taken form, and there were dwarves hurrying around, working tirelessly to finish construction. The scale of the city as well as the style caused Ling Chen to stare, dumbfounded. In just a few glances, he couldn't help but admire the dwarves' wisdom and skills in construction. The central administrative plaza was grand and impressive, and it was the first time Ling Chen had felt such an imposing might coming from buildings. The surrounding areas were beautiful and elegant, and one could tell at a glance that the marketplace gave off an air of temptation. There was also the entertainment district, residential district, and the competition district. No matter where one looked, they would feel like they couldn't look away. No matter where they looked, they would sigh and marvel within their hearts. However, right now was not the time for appreciation. Heaven-shaking roars came from the north, drawing Ling Chen's attention. He looked over and saw a large expanse of yellow. The 20 kilometers of grassy plains had been treaded into dirt, and there was not a shred of green left, showing Ling Chen how devastating the battle had been. A dark mass of attacking troops was rushing towards the north of the city, while there did not seem to be any defenders in front of it.
"Great, I wasn't too late. Let's go, Snow Cherry."
Ling Chen changed direction and rushed towards the battlefield. Suddenly, a clear voice filled with delight sounded in his ears.
"Big Brother! Wow! It's really Big Brother!"
Ling Chen slowed down as the person who spoke flew over with her little wings in front of Ling Chen.
"Kair, you Big Brother, you're finally back. Please go and help the big sisters."
Kair rushed up and hurriedly yelled.
"There are too many bad guys. Big sisters can't hold them back anymore. Hurry and go, Big Brother. Don't let those bad guys destroy our home. Eh?"
Kair's gaze was drawn over to Shadisika, who was smiling at her.
"Who's this big sister? Wow, her hair is completely white. She's so pretty and cute."
The pure white girl was quite eye-catching, and she had a natural charm that could steal anyone's soul. Even Ling Chen had not been able to resist her. Ling Chen patted Kair's little hand that was holding onto his clothes as he nodded and replied,
"She's called Sha Sha. You can be good friends in the future. Kair, help me tell the people in the fairy clan and the dwarf clan that the city will be fine, and that they can be at ease. Let's go, Snow Cherry." "Wait!"
A clear and cold voice sounded out behind Ling Chen. Ling Chen turned around and saw an elegant and beautiful face that looked like the face of a goddess. Ling Chen hadn't seen Ning Shui in a long time. She was just as incredibly beautiful as before, but the layer of iciness on her face still had not melted. She took out a few small wooden bottles and gave them to Ling Chen as she said calmly,
"This is Dew of Dawn and Dew of Dusk collected from beside Fairy Fountain. Their effects are much more effective than normal Dew of Dawn and Dew of Dusk. Take them."
After saying this, she did not give Ling Chen an extra look as she left. Fairy Dew of Dawn, pure dew that is formed on the flowers and grasses near the fairy fountain at dawn. It contains a great amount of life energy. After consuming, restores 15,000 HP every second, which persists for 30 seconds. Can be used continuously, but effects do not stack. Fairy Dew of Dusk, pure dew that is formed on the flowers and grasses near fairy fountain at dusk. It contains a great amount of life energy. After consuming, restores 6,000
MP every second, which persists for 30 seconds. Can be used continuously, but the effects do not stack. The effects of the Dew of Dawn and Dew of Dusk are already immensely powerful, but the Dew of Dawn and Dew of Dusk that were collected near Fairy Fountain actually gave effects that lasted for 3 times as long. There were 100 drops in each bottle, which would be able to last Ling Chen for a very long time. Ling Chen did not dally, and after saying a few words of comfort to Kair, he once again rushed towards the battlefield. The onslaught of 4 million players could shake the earth and move mountains. In front of such a force, even the wall of vines created by the fairy clan was easily destroyed. If these players rushed into the city, they would cause a massive catastrophe. However, there was nothing Li Xiao and the others could do against them. The attacking forces came closer and closer, and the front line was now within 100 meters of the new city. In 10 seconds or so, they would reach the final weak defense. By now, Li Xiao and the others had given up all hope, and no one went down from the platform to stop them. With their strength in this sort of situation, they would simply be dying for nothing. After sighing, Li Xiao looked at the 3 heavenly kings and said apologetically, "Gu family's 3 uncles, if I had known that this would have been the result from the beginning, I wouldn't have dragged you in. In the end, we've still lost, and asked you to suffer possibly the greatest loss in your lives. This was all my fault. In the future, I will do all I can to compensate you." However, Skyfall gave a hearty laugh as he waved his hand. "No need. We didn't come for you, but for our big sister. As such, you don't need to feel like you owe us anything. In fact, although we lost, we sacrificed 3 million players to take down more than 10 million players. This will be our eternal glory. Tomorrow, even if the Skyfall dynasty is annihilated, the entire world will not forget our glory. Ha ha ha." Clang. The attacking forces drew nearer and nearer, and soon they were only meters away. At that moment, the clear sound of a sword being drawn sounded out. The Sword Emperor, who had sat silently under the platform, suddenly rose and charged forwards with 5 sharp swords, giving off icy lights as they circled around her. In this massive battle, apart from Shao, the Sword Emperor had killed the most people. The players who fell under her swords numbered around 50,000 to 60,000, and she had not died a single time. Within the army of millions, wherever she charged to, corpses would litter the ground. The attacking players were all terrified of her, and whenever they heard that she was nearby, they would be scared out of their wits. Seeing this terrifying death odd rush towards them, the faces of the attacking players paled, their hearts trembling. However, before the Sword Emperor came close, a silver light exploded out, almost blinding their eyes. The 5 swords by the Sword Emperor's side rushed to the sky, flying almost 100 meters high. When everyone subconsciously looked up, their eyes widened, because there were not 5 swords in the sky, but hundreds, no, thousands, no, tens of thousands. Countless sword lights filled the sky like stars, and no one knew just when they had appeared there. The sword lights hovered in the air for a few seconds before shooting downwards. Whoosh! 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 The descending sword lights looked like a meteor shower, falling towards the attacking forces' army. Countless attacking players screamed out, forming a terrible melody of death. The meteor shower of sword lights spanned over 100 meters, and countless red damaged figures rapidly floated up. Wherever the sword light passed, corpses fell to the ground without a single person left alive. Everyone within 100 meters of the Sword Emperor instantly died, without a single survivor. This sudden rain of swords caused the attacking force, which possessed an unstoppable momentum, to suddenly fall silent. All of the players stared with wide eyes towards the mountain of corpses that had just appeared in an instant, their eyes filled with fear and shock. "What sort of skill is this?" Skyfall cried out in shock. My goodness, so powerful! Is this the Sword Emperor's true power? Feng muttered with his mouth wide open. Unbelievable! Even Feng was completely dumbfounded. The Sword Emperor had once been at the top of the heaven rankings, and yet this Sword Emperor was tens, if not hundreds of times more powerful than the old Sword Emperor. Her increase in power seemed to have happened after she left the Yin-Huang alliance. No one could imagine just what she had experienced to go through such monstrous growth. Just that single attack buried thousands of people and shocked millions. Clang! 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 The 5 swords simultaneously fell and stabbed into the ground, but did not float back up. At this moment, the Sword Emperor's body violently swayed and half-kneeled on the ground. Li Xiao frowned as she said worriedly, Crap! She used up all of her mental energy in that attack, and she might not even be able to think anymore. Winter, 100 miles, quickly rescue her. The Sword Emperor had silently joined this battle, but had put in more effort than almost anyone else. In these last moments, she was still not willing to give up. Irrespective of the past, the current Sword Emperor was their most powerful and reliable ally. Adding on Li Xiaoshua's guesses as to her identity, she simply did not want to see her die. It's too late, Skyfall said in a low voice. Kill her! Long Tian gave the order in a low voice from behind the attacking army. The attacking forces, which had frozen in shock, started to move again. The corpses in front of them caused them to shudder in fear, but the Sword Emperor looked completely defenseless, giving them the courage to advance. They roared as they quickly charged. Just the thought of killing the Sword Emperor alone caused them to tremble. Although winter of that year and 100 miles of ice were quite fast, it would be impossible even for them to save the Sword Emperor. They could only watch as the sea of players swarmed towards the Sword Emperor. Her single figure among millions of players seemed extremely small. When the attackers were just a few steps away, and the invincible Sword Emperor was about to fall at the hands of ordinary players, Li Xiaoshue sighed and raised her head, unwilling to see this scene. Screw off! Just as the attackers' weapons were about to fall on the Sword Emperor's body, a blinding light suddenly flashed in everyone's eyes, as a deafening roar sounded in their ears. This roar came from a human, and yet it sounded like a peal of thunder, causing everyone's blood to roil. Extinguishing the heavens and destroying the earth. Tempest! Hod! Boom! A heaven-shattering and earth-shaking explosion sounded out, making everyone lose their hearing. The ground exploded, and everyone on that massive battlefield could feel the earth trembling under their feet as stones and sand were blasted into the air, covering the entire region. Countless people cried out as they were tossed around like sandbags. Some were even blasted 100 meters away. This sudden attack caused the attackers, who had finally started moving again, to once again stop and fall silent. The players at the back all covered their ringing ears as they stared in front of them. After the sand and dust cleared, and they could finally see what had happened, their pupils contracted as a wave of iciness crept up their spines. This coldness spread throughout their arteries and veins, causing their heart, muscles, and every other part of their bodies to tremble. A 30-meter-wide crater had appeared in the ground, and no one could see just how deep it was or how many bodies were buried within it. Countless long gashes extended out from the crater, as if the ground had suffered a heavy impact, causing it to split. Some of the fissures were almost 100 meters long and half a meter wide. The area in between the fissures was incredibly dark, and no one could see how deep they extended. Slaughter 1. What had just happened was completely beyond the imagination of any of the people present. There had been many experts in the virtual world, and everyone had always respected and admired these experts for how powerful they were. They would sometimes even imagine the limits of these experts' power. However, they would never imagine that a player could shake and shatter the earth with a single strike. Shaking and shattering the earth was something that only nature could do, and a human should not possess such power, much less a player. Before, Shao Qi's dazzling red lotus had completely stunned everyone. Although this attack caused less casualties, it was even more shocking. This sort of attack would even be able to destroy a small mountain. At the center of the crater stood a white figure. Snow Cherry, in her normal form, was small and cute, while in her mount state, she looked mighty and awe-inspiring. Her fur was completely snow-white without even a trace of impurity, and her 5 flame-shaped tails were close to her body. On her back was a person wearing a demonic, dark golden mask, with a twilight spear and great ravager in his left and right hands respectively, giving off an intense sense of bloodlust. His sinister gaze passed through the evil god's mask, coldly falling on the large attacking force. Everyone who met his gaze felt like they were suffocating.
Big Brother Ling Tian! It's Big Brother Ling Tian!
On the platform, Shao Qi was the first person to yell out emotionally. She ran to the edge of the platform as she yelled towards Ling Tian.
Big Brother Ling Tian! Big Brother Ling Tian! Su! Big Brother Ling Tian has come back! Hurry and wake up! He's really back! It really is Ling Tian!
Feng rubbed his hands together in excitement. His dim eyes once again burned with fire as he looked at Ling Chen in the distance. He had not seen his mount or most of his equipment before, but that golden mask, the 2 unique weapons, and that domineering aura, how could it be anyone else?
Ling Tian!
Yunming Xian clasped her hands together as her eyes became misty. She looked at the hazy figure as she said in a soft voice,
Great! Great!
There were still 4 million attacking players, while Ling Chen was by himself. Facing the gigantic army, he looked as small as a grain of sand in front of a mountain. However, looking at him, Yunming Xian felt all of her worries and fear disappear without a trace. It was as if with him here, no matter how powerful their enemies were or how grave the dangers were, even if the sky fell and earth shattered, he would protect them all.
Really? Did he choose to arrive at this time to play the hero?
Li Xiaoshui smiled, as she also slightly relaxed. Looking at his figure, as well as the crater and fissures below him, a strange light appeared in her eyes.
Ling Tian, eh? After his adventures in the East Ocean continent, there hasn't been any news about him for a long time. HM? Could that white fox under him be the cherry blossom god representative who he subdued in the East Ocean continent?
Skyfall said in a low voice. Before, as the 3 heavenly kings, the 3 brothers had been quite interested in Ling Tian. A few months ago, he had caused a disaster in the East Ocean continent by catching the moon god representative to be his pet. This had sent the entire world into a frenzy and had shocked all of the large guilds. All of the guilds that had offended Ling Tian in the past became deeply fearful, and the Skyfall dynasty continuously tried to track Ling Tian's actions, wanting to befriend him. They never thought that they would meet him under such circumstances. To Skyfall, against the sky, and judging sky, Ling Tian was like a myth or a legend. His arrival drew all of their attention, but after seeing Li Xiaoshui, Yunming Xian, and the others' reactions, they became quite surprised. Just then, they had been incredibly melancholic and depressed at their loss, but currently Feng, Shao Qi, Yunming Xian, Mu Bingyao, and the others all looked delighted, without a trace of fear or worry anymore on their faces. Even the calm and collected Li Xiaoshui was grinning, as if Ling Tian's appearance meant that the crisis was over. Indeed, Ling Tian was incredibly powerful, but he was facing 4 million players. Even if they allowed Ling Tian to attack them without retaliating, he would not be able to kill them even in 3 days and 3 nights.
Why did these people react in such a way?
The true main character has finally arrived,
Feng said as he folded his arms and calmly looked ahead of him.
Let me see if you'll show the world again just how terrifying Ling Tian is.
The attacking forces stood there in shock, looking at Ling Chen in fear and surprise. Not a single person dared to advance. Ling Tian, who they thought would not appear, had arrived. All of them knew just how powerful Ling Tian was. The strength he displayed in the East Ocean continent was enough to shock the entire world. He had charged into the East Ocean continent by himself and made an enemy of everyone there. However, he hadn't suffered any losses or taken any injuries, and had instead annihilated their 3 top guilds by himself. He had even destroyed a main city and made the East Ocean continent's moon god representative his pet. Everyone in the world acknowledged him to be a heaven-defying player, and most people were now saying that he was comparable to the Eve of the West. With such a person standing in front of them, and adding on that earth-shattering attack he had just unleashed, although he was alone, no one dared to approach. During this period of strange silence, winter of that year and 100 miles of ice had rushed behind Ling Tian and stood next to the Sword Emperor, preparing to take her away. Suddenly, their bodies trembled as they suddenly looked up towards Ling Chen. At that moment, Ling Chen also quickly turned around and looked at winter of that year and 100 miles of ice. When the 3 people's gazes met, all 3 pairs of eyes started to violently tremble. None of the 3 people said anything, but their hearts beat furiously.
You're Ling Tian? Why are you?
Winter of that year stared at Ling Chen, wanting to see through the evil god's mask to see just what he looked like. Even the stony-faced 100 miles of ice looked incredibly shocked.
Take her somewhere safe first. We'll talk about this after all of this is over. I'm sure there's lots for us to talk about,
Ling Chen calmly said. 100 miles of ice and winter of that year looked at each other and gently breathed in. They didn't say anything else as they brought the Sword Emperor towards the platform.
Ling Tian, you're finally back.
Long Tian Yun's cold voice sounded out from the back of the army.
I've waited for you for a long time. I want you to see how your new city will be annihilated so that not even a speck of dust remains. Today, even if I can't obtain the city creation token, I will completely destroy the city.
Long Tian Yun's voice was filled with savageness and madness. The memory of Ling Chen gripping his neck with his bloody hands had left him with a great trauma, and he now had a deep-rooted fear towards Ling Chen. Only by defeating him and killing him could he get rid of this trauma. Otherwise, it would affect him for the rest of his life. Long Tian Yun personally gave the order as he yelled, "Brave warriors, we've already cleared out all obstacles, and victory is right in front of us. There is no longer anyone who can stop all of you. Let alone a single Ling Tian, even 100 or even 10,000 Ling Tians would not be able to stop you. Together with you are 4 million brothers and sisters. Charge!" After Long Tian Yun's command, the other leaders also gave the command to attack at full force. Although they completely feared Ling Tian, they had no other choice. In an instant, the silent army once again became filled with life as they gave roars that seemed to shake the earth and deafen those who heard them. From above, the large army seemed to stretch as far as the eye could see, and Ling Tian, standing by himself, almost could not be seen in comparison.
Is he really going to try to stop them?
Skyfall asked as he frowned.
And from how you look, it looks like you think he can stop them. He's not facing a few thousand or tens of thousands of players, but 4 million players. Ling Tian is indeed ridiculously strong. I would believe it if you said he was going to fight with them for a day and a night. However, how can he stop them from attacking the city by themselves? Even if he kills 100 people every second, that sort of attack will simply be like tickling to them. How could he stop such a massive force from advancing? I believe that he can do it. Yun Ming Xian replied without giving any sort of answer. Even if other people can't do it, Big Brother Ling Tian definitely can do it. Because he's Big Brother Ling Tian, there's nothing he cannot do. Xiao Qi's words were incredibly earnest. I believe in him too, Li Xiaoshui said as she smiled. Just wait and see, Xiao Qiufeng calmly said as he walked over to stand beside Skyfall. Very few people could face 1,000 players by themselves, and a single person facing millions of players. This was simply impossible. Who could face millions of players by themselves? Who would even try to stop millions of players by themselves? And yet, this sort of scene was unfolding in front of the new city. Watching the attackers come closer and closer, Ling Chen's eyes narrowed as he muttered, Xi Ling, burn them to your heart's delight. Ling Chen's body flashed as he seemed to turn into a streak of light and dove into the army. He was simply too fast, and the attacking players only saw a blur as a deathly wind blew towards them. Boundless desolation. Within the pitiful cries, more than 100 players were blasted into the air, and 2 empty areas appeared within the densely packed ranks of the attacking forces. At the same time, a piercing bird's cry sounded out from above as boundless flames descended from the sky, forming a sea of flames. Slaughter, too, in terms of individual fighting and self-protection abilities, Ling Chen was superior to Xi Ling. However, in terms of crowd fighting, even 10 Ling Chens would not be able to compare to Xi Ling. The reborn Xi Ling's heaven-burning flames is much stronger than before. The instant it was cast, the entire sky was dyed a crimson-red color. The firestorm enveloped an area with a diameter of 400 meters, devouring nearly 50,000 attacking players. The crimson-red flames elegantly burned, while the 50,000 attacking players screamed in pain. However, they could only let out a single scream before they fell, becoming charred corpses. Outside of the heaven-burning flames, the other players were scared witless. They continuously tried to scramble away from the flames, regardless of which way they were supposed to be attacking. Their eyes widened as they stared dumbly at the corpses of their comrades burning. Suddenly, a bird's cry sounded out from above as more flames of despair descended from the sky. After Xi Ling's wild flames were upgraded to heaven-burning flames, no matter if it was the strength or AoE, it was now comparable to all of Ling Chen's ultimate skills, and yet it had a cooldown time of merely 5 seconds. On this battlefield, in which the players were gathered incredibly densely, the heaven-burning flames was like a terrifying meat grinder. Every time it was released, it would sweep thousands if not tens of thousands of players into the sea of flames. Xi Ling was so powerful that she could insta-kill lord bosses of a similar level, much less these normal players. Without a doubt, any players that so much as touched Xi Ling's flames were instantly killed without having the opportunity to even struggle. Heaven-burning flames, Phoenix Arrow, and Vermillion Judgment were the 3 main attacks that Xi Ling continuously used, turning the area in front of the new city into an ever-burning sea of flames. The sky remained a deep red color, and the attacking players continuously screamed and howled, the attackers suffering countless casualties every second. Since Ling Tian had attacked, no, more precisely, since Xi Ling had started attacking, it was a one-sided slaughter. Many of the players who were far away were suddenly killed by flames that had descended from the sky without even knowing what had happened or how they had died. After Ling Tian had released extinguishing the heavens and destroying the earth tempest, at the beginning to attract everyone's attention, and then used 2 boundless desolations, he had not attacked since. This was because before he could even attack, the enemies in front had already been annihilated by Xi Ling. He had rushed forwards towards more enemies, but before he had even come close, Xi Ling's heaven-burning flames had annihilated the 50 meters of players in front of him. Phoenix arrows even caused players, who were 200 meters away, to cry out as they died. With Xi Ling's attack efficacy, unless she stopped, it would be impossible for Ling Chen to kill even a single player. As such, Ling Chen could only stop attacking and grin as he watched Xi Ling's stunning performance. He couldn't help but think back. Back then, he never had to kill monsters to gain EXP, because as soon as Xi Ling attacked, she would kill all of the monsters in the area, not giving him a chance to even attack. Now that Xi Ling was back, it seemed that history would repeat itself.
Wow! Xi Ling is indeed Xi Ling. Even though she has become a pet, she is still so powerful.
Xiao excitedly jumped up and down. She knew about Xi Ling's background, and had seen Xi Ling being reborn by the Vermillion bird's flames.
This is no goddamn pet. Even as a final boss, it would be too OP.
Judging Sky and Against the Sky's mouths fell wide open as they stared.
Ling Tian, Xi Ling, will leave everything to you. Please do your best.
Yunming Xian softly said as she clasped her hands together. Elsewhere, the leaders and bosses of the large guilds felt as if their eyes were going to pop out, and their mouths and stomachs felt as if they were filled with cold air. That ridiculously beautiful bird was an insane killing machine. In less than half a minute, it had killed tens of thousands of players. What's more, it was flying 50 meters above the ground, so even archer professions were unable to hit it. However, if they tried to use flying-type pets to approach it, they would definitely be incinerated before they even came close. Long Tianyun's eyes looked as if they were shooting out flames. Ling Chen was already terrifying enough. Now he had to deal with his pets, who were even more overpowered than he was. This caused Long Tianyun to immediately feel scared as well as jealous. With this sort of situation, no matter how many people they had, they would be unable to kill Ling Tian. Long Tianyun held up his communication device as he roared.
All teams disperse. Extend the attack line to 3 kilometers. Ignore Ling Tian and that bird. Attack the new city at full force.
After Long Tianyun gave the order, the densely packed ranks of the attacking forces started to spread out, soon forming a square-looking formation. This change caused the faces of Li Xiaoshui and the others to fall.
Crap!
Yun Feng's face darkened.
Before, dispersing like this while fighting against the Skyfall dynasty would have been incredibly stupid. However, right now, the Skyfall dynasty and Battle Alliance have been cleared out, and only Ling Tian is there to defend. Adding on us, there are less than 10 people defending. How can we stop them in such a formation? The army dispersing will reduce the efficiency of Xi Ling's attacks. With them spread out like this, even with the range and AoE of Xi Ling's attacks, unless there are 30 or so Xi Lings, it'll be impossible to stop them. No matter how tough a stone is, it'll only be able to stop a narrow flow of water. It's impossible for a stone to stop a flow of water as wide as a river, Li Xiaoshui said as she frowned. However, we can only wait and see what Ling Tian will do. I'm sure he won't disappoint us. Defend? How is he going to defend? Can he make thousands or tens of thousands of clones of himself?
Skyfall anxiously asked. Ling Chen also noticed the change immediately and frowned. Currently, out of his attack skills, the skill with the largest AoE was Moon Sacrifice, and then extinguishing the heavens and destroying the Earth Tempest. However, even with Moon Sacrifice, he could only cover 500 meters. Facing the attacking force that was continuously spreading out, he would only be able to stop them for a short while. Moreover, if he defended against the middle, he would have to give up on the two sides. If he defended against one side, he would be giving up on the middle and the other side. If he blocked one place, the players elsewhere would quickly break through the wall of vines and reach the new city. Once that happened, there would be nothing that he could do, because Xi Ling's ruthless flames contained a destruction effect. If she used them recklessly, she would not only incinerate the attacking players,
but also the new city. Give it enough time, Ling Chen was 100% certain that he could kill all of these attacking players without being harmed at all. However, this was completely different to stopping these people from attacking the new city. The easiest way out of this situation would be to ask Xi Ling to use the heavenly wrath of the 9 suns, which would kill everyone here. However, Xi Ling had severe restrictions, and although using it wouldn't kill her like before, it would reduce her maximum HP and level. In that case, Snow Cherry, take me up! Snow Cherry rose into the air as high as she could go. The attacking forces continuously spread out until the attack line was 3 kilometers wide. They then started to charge towards the new city. The only thing that could stop them was Xi Ling in front of them. Not a single player could approach the 200 meters around Xi Ling and survive. However, that was only 200 meters, which was less than 1/10 of their attack line. Although Xi Ling's attacks had a large range in AoE, she definitely couldn't stop an attack line that was 3 kilometers long. The attacking forces came closer and closer, and very soon, they were less than 20 to 30 meters away from the wall of vines. In a few seconds, they would start attacking the wall of vines. Once that was destroyed, there would be essentially nothing standing in their way. Long Tian Yun's wild laughter sounded out from the back of the army. Ha ha ha! Ling Tian, prepare to watch this new city be crushed to dust. Ling Chen hovered in the air for a while, as he watched the attacking forces come closer and closer. He could hear Long Tian Yun's arrogant laughter as well as Yunmeng Xian's anxious cries. You forced me to do this. Just as the attacking players were about to reach the wall of vines, Ling Chen's narrowed eyes fully opened as he raised his right hand, his palm facing the sky as a purple light erupted around his body. Nirvana lightning! Crack! Ling Chen's roar seemed to break through the heavens, and as the lightning appeared around him, the sound of lightning sounded out from the sky. Everyone subconsciously looked up and found that the sky, which had been dyed red by Xi Ling's flames, had suddenly become a dark purple color as countless purple bolts of lightning shot down. Crack! 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 Lightning was often seen in the real world, and there were also countless lightning mages within the virtual world. However, no one had ever seen such monstrous lightning before. The lightning seemed to cover the sky, and was extremely bright. It furiously descended towards different areas in the battlefield, and each lightning bolt brought about an explosion, killing hundreds of players. The lightning fell at random intervals and at random places, but the range that they covered was simply terrifying. With Ling Chen at the center, the lightning bolt spread out for 4 kilometers, continuously descending. Since the first bolt of lightning had descended to when the last explosion had sounded out, less than 5 seconds had passed. And yet, thousands of lightning bolts had descended, killing nearly 100,000 players. This was the first time Ling Chen had used the power of the Thunder God's Bulwark. The Thunder God's Bulwark could absorb lightning and allow him to use it freely. Back then, when the White Tiger had given him the Thunder God's Bulwark, he had also given him part of the White Tiger source energy. Moreover, Ling Chen had absorbed quite a lot of lightning within the Thunder God barrier. However, he hadn't expected the effects to be so powerful. The lightning that he had just released had used up less than 5% of the lightning stored within the Thunder God's Bulwark. Ling Chen smirked as his body was once again covered with purple light. The sound of lightning once again sounded out as thousands of lightning bolts descended again. Crack! 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 Boom! Boom! After a pause of a few seconds, the second wave of lightning descended. It was even more ferocious than the first wave. The sky was filled with countless lightning maelstrom that mercilessly shot down purple lightning. The explosions caused by the lightning were simply deafening, drowning out the cries of terror and pain from countless players. Under the might of the God of Nature,
they could only run around in terror and howl, sounding like millions of wolves. After the second wave was the third wave, followed by a fourth wave, then a fifth wave, a sixth wave. The grassy plains in front of the new city was turned into a lightning purgatory. Every second, the light from the lightning of destruction would flash, looking like countless ferocious beasts that mercilessly devoured masses of lives. As Ling Chen continuously released the Nirvana lightning, the lightning within the Thunder God's bulwark was quickly depleted. After the ninth wave, only about half of the lightning was remaining, and the lightning finally stopped descending. After the ninth wave of Nirvana lightning that spanned a whole 4 kilometers, there were less than 20% of players remaining within the 4 kilometers in front of the new city. The survivors were so terrified that they couldn't even walk anymore, and those who had reached the wall of vines with great difficulty had forgotten how to even attack. Their lips were ashen and their faces were paled as they trembled on the ground, not daring to even move. Their eyes were wide as they stared up at the sky, afraid that a bolt of lightning would descend and strike their heads. After the lightning stopped, a terrifying silence filled the land. No matter if it was the attackers or the defenders, everyone held their breaths, staring at Ling Chen as if they had become stone. In their eyes, although he was a human on the outside and was a player, he could not be called a human anymore. He was a demon god. Below, Long Tianyun's face was incredibly red, his entire body filled with fury. He felt a surging within his chest that made him feel like vomiting up blood, and he was unable to speak a full sentence. His hands continuously trembled, as if he was having a convulsion, and he looked as if he had just been violated by 10 burly men. There was no doubt as to why he was like this. That terrifying lightning had just annihilated 1 million players. A whole 1 million players. The overwhelming numbers advantage they had filled him with immense confidence. He didn't doubt that Ling Tian was powerful, but he was confident that even if there were 1,000 Ling Tians, they would not be able to kill these 4 million players before they destroyed the new city. However, even if they had twice their numbers, they could afford to lose 1 million players. Long Tianyun's reaction was extremely unsightly, and the other leaders almost fell over in shock. Judging Sky's eyes opened wide as he muttered, This is impossible, right? Someone tell me that I'm dreaming, Why the hell did you pinch me? I'm helping you confirm whether this is a dream. Looks like it isn't. Against the Sky innocently shook the hand that had been slapped away by Judging Sky. Even the legendary lightning forbidden curse wouldn't be so powerful, right? And yet, Ling Tian has such a terrifying lightning attack. This is unbelievable, Feng said, feeling stunned. Let alone other people. Even Ling Chen himself was given a big fright by how powerful the Thunder God's bulwark was. In these 9 short waves of lightning, he had killed over 1 million players. This was an absolutely terrifying number, however. Thinking back to the fact that this power belonged to the guardian beast White Tiger, he understood why it was so powerful. After using about half of the lightning stored in the Thunder God's bulwark, he finally stopped. Since the Thunder God's bulwark was so powerful, it would definitely play a great role in times of crisis. How could he use it all on these cannon fodder? Moreover, there were simply too many attackers. Even if he used up all of the lightning, he wouldn't be able to kill them all. Moreover, defeating these attacking players didn't necessarily mean killing them all. After the 9 waves of Nirvana lightning, 99% of the attacking players were scared out of their wits, and the remaining 1% barely had their minds intact. No one dared to take a single step in the direction of the new city, temporarily resolving the crisis. Seeing this opportunity, Ling Chen stopped attacking and Snow Cherry charged forwards like a meteor, locking onto Long Tianyun and the other leaders. In order for ease of communication, Long Tianyun and the other leaders were at the same place, surrounded by many layers of elites. Ling Tian! Ling Tian's coming!
Panicked cries sounded out from the players around the leaders. The terrifying lightning attacks had made them completely terrified, and to them, Ling Tian's name became a synonym for the devil. Upon seeing him charge over, all of them felt as if their souls were scattering, and the entire area was sent into a frenzy. The players all shakily raised their weapons, pointing them towards Ling Chen. However, given the height at which Ling Chen was flying, they could not hit him at all, and could only watch as he came closer. Long Tianyun looked up and detected Ling Tian's gaze, causing his heart to tremble. The other leaders' faces all fell. Before they could even think of what to do, a white light flashed above them as Ling Tian, who was 100 meters away, suddenly appeared above them while looking down at them.
"I'll give you a final chance."
Ling Chen's voice was domineering and emotionless, like he was a king giving his prisoners of war an opportunity to live.
"Take your people and screw off, and I'll pretend none of this happened. Otherwise—"
The final word was spoken extremely coldly and sinisterly, causing everyone who heard it to feel as if a demon's sharp teeth were on their necks. After Ling Chen stopped speaking, every one of them felt his gaze sweep across them like an icy blade being dragged across their bodies, causing shivers to run through their bodies.
"Hee hee, ha 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 ha."
Long Tianyun started to laugh, his laughter filled with darkness, madness, and savageness. After that night at the Long family's residence, he knew that the enmity between him and Ling Tian would never be resolved. The only option he had was to kill Ling Tian. No matter what, he could never compromise or ask for peace.
"Ling Tian, are you scared? That lightning you let out was the last trick up your sleeve, right? You used your lightning to kill 1 million players, but we still have 3 million. With enough time, we'll immediately reassemble. When that happens, do you think you'll be able to stop us? Keep dreaming."
As soon as Long Tianyun said this, the other leaders toughed up a little. The things Ling Tian had done in the East Ocean continent had completely shocked everyone, and they couldn't help but fear him. However, after coming so far, they could not turn back, nor were they willing to turn back. Moreover, although Ling Tian's lightning attack was incredibly shocking, they still had the advantage. How could Ling Tian block 3 million players? They didn't believe that Ling Tian could do such a thing again.
"The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. Even if you kill us all, our Golden Age alliance will never run away,"
Mo Gulin valiantly said as he took a step forwards. Ling Chen's eyes narrowed as he looked at the other leaders before asking calmly,
"Is that how you all feel as well?"
No one said anything, but no one turned to leave either.
"Very good,"
Ling Chen said.
"Since it's like this, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. From now on, even if you kneel down to beg for mercy, I'll make you regret appearing here for the rest of your lives. Kneel?"
Long Tianyun reacted as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He tilted his head back as he roared with laughter.
"In this lifetime, I've only had people kneeling down to me, and yet you want me to kneel down to you. Ha 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 ha, is that so?"
Ling Chen also started to laugh in amusement as he mockingly looked at each of the leaders. A strange light flashed in his eyes as he locked on to Long Tianyun and 24 other people who held the highest statuses. Ling Chen's comprehension was currently 25, so he could only choose 25 targets.
"Ding! The Libra Orb's effects have activated Deity Curse, as cooldown time has been reset."
Immediately, all of the leaders reacted as if they had been struck by lightning and froze on the spot. They all looked up with their eyes wide open, staring at Ling Chen. Their eyes started to flash, and soon they were filled with tears. They were tears of excitement and joy, as if a long-lost son had found his father. With a Pucci, as everyone else watched with wide eyes, Long Tianyun knelt down towards Ling Chen with his hands in front of him, prostrating himself in worship. He stared at Ling Chen through his tears, his expression and posture filled with sincerity.
"Ling Tian, you You're so powerful and mighty, so heroic and amazing. You're definitely a representative from the heavens. You're the most amazing person in this world. No one can compare to you and your incredible holiness. I've offended you many times in the past, and should receive divine punishment for my offenses.
Long Tian Yun lay prostrate on the ground, his face full of worship and guilt. As he spoke, tears and snot ran down his face, looking as if he wished to crawl over and lick Ling Chen's feet. The world instantly fell deathly silent. San Yin was dumbfounded. All of the Yin Huang Alliance players were dumbfounded. The three heavenly kings were dumbfounded. Li Xiao Shui was dumbfounded. Yun Meng Xian was dumbfounded. Xiao Qi's mouth was wide open. Xiao Qiufeng's eyes bulged. Yun Feng's jaw dropped to the ground. All of the attacking players stared at Long Tian Yun as their minds exploded. The Long family's sole heir, the alliance master of the Yin Huang Alliance, was a majestic figure, whether in real life or in the virtual world. No one could compare to him, and yet he had kneeled to Ling Tian, someone he hated irreconcilably. His words were filled with worship and adoration, making it difficult for everyone to believe their ears. Poochie! 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 Even more knees fell to the ground. It was as if all of the other leaders had planned to kneel down together and drop down simultaneously. The sound was so loud that it was as if they were trying to bury their knees in the ground. 24 people with the most power in the virtual world looked as if they had seen God's trusted apostle, looking up at Ling Chen with tears streaking down their faces.
Ling Tian, I never thought that I'd be able to witness your glory. This is the greatest moment of my life. You're as bright as the dawn in the darkness, warmly nurturing my soul and illuminating my body and future. You're even more resplendent than the stars. You are holier and purer than the moon and even brighter than the sun. Woo! Woo! I'm a beast who's worse than a dog or a pig. I offended you time and time again. My crimes are incredibly grievous, and I deserve death. I can't even forgive myself. Woo!
Black Flame's wild gale howled as he smacked himself.
Glorious Ling Tian, being able to kneel down to you is my great fortune. To be able to worship you at such close distance makes me feel like I can die without any regrets. Even if I die immediately, it'll be worth it. Woo! I'm so moved. Ling Tian, please punish me as you wish. I actually tried to attack the city you're protecting. This is an unforgivable sin. I'm scum and trash. I'm worse than animals. Please punish me, otherwise I'll forever be buried in my guilt.
The 25 leaders, including Long Tian Yun, were kneeling around Ling Chen, kowtowing and worshipping him with tears and snot running down their faces. Some shouted out all the phrases of praise and admiration they knew, and they seemed incredibly emotional. Others lowered their heads and beat their chests, condemning and cursing themselves for the things that they had done to Ling Tian. While others slapped themselves, some even took out their weapons, wanting to kill themselves. 3 million pairs of eyes stared at this scene directly. Hundreds of millions of Chinese players watched the broadcast. 25 of the players with the most power and influence, including the Yin Huang Alliance's alliance master, had gone crazy. They felt as if the entire world had gone crazy.